You're like the sea I'm sinking in, falling 1,000 leagues in love. And if I were to meet my demise, I wouldn't regret nor rise above. And if you were to wear a disguise, baby, your eyes would be enough to see your worth and lies far within. I believe I found a diamond in a rough, and I wanna do something with this life I'm lucky to live, for this world I'm living in, so I'll never stop loving, because I am a man made up of more than just the sum of all my parts. And baby, I believe your body's a work of art, so show me an open mind and I will hold you in my arms, so you can feel my heart beat faster for you. Can't you feel my heart beat faster for you? Can't you feel my heart beat faster for you? I stand stressed and looking at a mess from the corner by my bedroom door. I never want to see her anymore. I now know nothing could ever be what I thought it could be before, but my eyes keep slipping towards the door. You slip away and out from under my soul implore, 'cause I have run out of you time, and I will no longer lend you any of mine. As a man I'd planned to enjoy your curving line, but the sand in your hourglass has become too fine. I think less than I should about the mess that I left on my bedroom floor, but after all she had to be ignored. You slip away and out from under my soul implored, 'cause I've run out of you time, and I will no longer lend you any of mine. As a man I'd planned to enjoy your curving line, but the sand in your hourglass has become too fine. And I want to see her ever again no more, yeah, yeah. And I want to see her ever again no more. It's my pleasure, but baby, no more. Oh, because I've run out of you time, and I will no longer lend you any of mine. As a man I'd planned to enjoy your curving line, but the sand in your hourglass has become too fine. Yeah, the river of our love has run dry. It's dark and cold and empty as you're right. And as I arrive outside your lonely door, you realize the time ain't on outside no more. It's just about time. Oh, 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 oh. come back to you. Yeah, they will all come back to you. But nobody there means no one to share your last meal with. Your spirit's in disrepair. You wonder if Siddhartha wished all the Buddha. Was he scared? Hope his people make it back to him. Hope his people make it back to him. Was Jesus' Father fair? Was justice done there on that limb? God's hand must have been scared, because the devil's always after him. Yeah, the devil's always after him. Oh, Apollo, can we be spared and wait for impending disaster? Oh, does anything care? Oh, they write in Zoroaster. Oh, are you even there? Or is it life in darkness after? Oh, is it life in darkness after? Oh, are you even there? Or is it life in darkness after? Oh, is it life in darkness after? Oh, about the way the world's crumbling down and down and down? No beach, just coast will come closer to town. Well, I see San Francisco Bay in the sundown through goggles or underground. Suddenly, California can't be found. Should all take a good last look around. It's closing time. I leave home. The neon glow and the open sign. You're coming anytime, but you passed it by the road you're on. Gotta try to turn around your own sign. Oh, but you're right. We'll stumble around and drown, saying the structure of the world was faulty found. For what it's worth, the earth is round. something at all, at all, at all. How long till the third tallest tower falls? It's closing time. I leave on the neon glow at the open sign. You're coming anytime, but you passed it by the road you're on. Gotta try to turn around your own design. Oh, but you're running out of time. There's hope alive inside. You're coming anytime. There's hope alive inside. You're running out of time, but there's hope alive inside. You're coming anytime, 'cause there's hope alive inside. Oh, but you're running out of time. I wonder why you walked on by. Could it be so hard to smile? I think I'll follow you at least another mile and hold it down, but won't you all the while? All the while. Ever since our two roads have crossed, I don't know if I'm lost. I suppose that it's possible. Could you help me find God? I'm exhausted. Had it, I lost it. No matter the cost, won't just watch you walk on by. Could you say it if I should even give it a try? I don't want you to lie. I want your love is all I want for my life. To have love is all I want for my life. To have love is all. To have love is all I want for my life. To have love is all.
Goodness. Remember when you kept saying Lav is intelligent?
What's going on, guys?
Yeah.
When you vouched for her, and this is partially like Lav's fault as well, when you vouch for intelligence, do you not think that people feeling like you may be biased because you had a relationship with her factors into the fact that they don't trust your judgment on this individual?
Yeah, people say that shit, but like I've had like so many different like takes on people that I haven't had sexual relationships with.
Yeah.
And this is why like I wish I could show another world where Sneeko was a girl. Everybody would accuse me of simping and trying to fuck her. Every single person would. Because like how are you gonna bring a guy on that's platforming Nick Fuentes that's doing all this blah 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 blah, right? Or look at the like people would say that. But I mean, like, it is what it is.
So
Also, I still stand by the idea that, and you've heard her speak, people confuse intelligence with so many things. She's intelligent, but she has dog shit takes. She's got a shitty personality. She's easily controlled and manipulated or whatever. But, like, she's obviously, she seems like she's read on some shit. Like, she doesn't sound stupid, right? And you've seen her, as mad as these people get, she gets in these debates with, like, 4 or 5 people at a time, and she runs circles around, like, 3 people trying to nail her down on a point, right? So she's not stupid. Same thing with Max. Max is not stupid. They're just a little fucking crazy.
Okay,
and
so
like,
maybe their definitions of intelligence and, like, wisdom.
Yeah, they think that like intelligence is like agrees with me or has like good opinions or is in STEM or some shit like that. I guess. I don't know.
Do you think that she's actually able to think through these concepts and like be really well developed with them, or do you feel like she's just regurgitating stuff that she's like learned from like feminist theory?
Right now, it's regurgitation, but she's
So how much of that is intelligence?
even being able to. Okay, here's a question.
Go for it, yeah.
You've seen me be on Fresh and Fit. How many of those girls could regurgitate even the shit she says?
Yeah, but that's a pretty low barometer. But I don't disagree.
Yeah, I know. So I think that, like, here's the thing.
Average population, you probably feel like she's probably a little.
Absolutely.
Okay, I
like,
can agree with that.
Yeah.
I can agree.
But like, she's in an environment right now that's very conducive towards never like improving or learning. 100%.
Okay.
Like guaranteed. Yeah.
Okay. I would concede on that point. I think was it Supreme who said this? But do you ever get tired of all the memes of you bringing out people on and people assuming like you've had some kind of relationship with them?
So here's where I stand on that. I fuck a lot, and I enjoy that, and it's fun.
Yeah.
But and the problem is people never believe when I say this. Like, there are people that I've had sexual relations with that I'll bring on stream and like I'll light them up and they say some dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like, I have a pretty I can cast a wide net and catch a lot of fish, so I don't need to like drown to try to get one. Like, people are gonna assume that I'm gonna like simp for somebody,
Yeah.
or like change my opinion for, but like my integrity online is more important than like fucking one individual person, because I can always have sex with other people. Why the fuck would I care?
Right.
So like the things that bother me is that, one, the assumptions about having sex with people is weird because there's just no reason for it. Like, whether I do or don't it shouldn't be a topic for discussion.
It shouldn't be a topic of discussion. Why?
Because it's making assumptions that, one, can be offensive or degrading to the other person, and two, it shouldn't be relevant to what's on stream.
Okay, I could see that being true for you because I know how peculiar you are.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that's necessarily true for the people you're interacting with, one. And two, it doesn't mean that's not generally true for most people.
Yeah,
in this
I
space.
can consider that. Yeah,
I would
for sure.
argue most folks who would fuck another creator or another streamer of sorts and then have conversations, it definitely colors the way that they talk to each other.
Yeah, it definitely can for a lot of people. I agree with that 100%.
Right.
For
And
sure.
so you might feel like you're immune to it, and let's say you're 100% are, doesn't mean that the person who's interacting with you is. Like, I watch the way Lav talks to you and the way she talks to me, it's different. It is. She's hyper flirty and like, so even some of the stuff that she alludes to.
You're that is true, but in the end, who did she end up simping for harder? It was the guy that she didn't have a sexual relationship with. It was Mr. Girl, right?
Right, but that's for some other psychological reasons.
Sure, no, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, like, it might be that there are some, but there are also people like Brittany, for instance, is one of the people that I'm the most flirty with on stream. We have no sexual relationship, never have, not even remotely anything. So I mean, like, I don't know. I just think like there's sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It might make other people treat me differently. That's possible for sure. Right. But there might also be girls that treat me differently because they want to fuck me. We haven't. And I can't control that. Like, at the end of the day, like, if somebody is making consistently like dog shit arguments or dog shit things, they're probably just gonna show up on Streamlabs because people are gonna light them up, and it is whatever. Like, that'll just happen naturally over time.
Okay, so if you're, so here's the next question. If you're flirty with people, okay, on stream,
Yeah.
flirt with women specifically, generally, okay, and you have fucked some of them, and you haven't fucked some of them. The issue becomes once they know you have fucked some of them, they're gonna assume you fucked most of them.
Or all of them, yeah.
Or
that's what
all
people
of them.
say. Yeah.
And it's not totally unreasonable to assume that because you haven't engaged in that behavior before.
Sure.
And so I think once they understand that that's happening, yeah, I mean,
the reality
yeah.
is that like there have been guys that I've brought on that if they were women, people would say it's all simping. Fuentes, Mr. Girl, and Sneeko are three people that if they were women, I would never hear the end of my community.
I'll concede that.
All three of them. And then there are girls that I've brought on that I've had sexual relationships with that like Lav, for instance, is one of them, and I'm like screaming at her, "Shut up, you stupid bitch!" So it's like, it's not like I'm simping for these girls that I've like had sex with.
That's fair.
It just, yeah. But I mean, like, I understand why people might get the perception, but yeah, I don't know. But the weird thing too is I have to be careful about the like, well, I haven't even had sex with this person. I haven't had sex, because if I say that too much, eventually they're gonna ask about somebody, and I'm gonna have to be like, I can't comment on that. And they're like, oh, well, you could comment on the other one, so that means you did, right?
Yeah.
So like, I accidentally leaked yesterday that me and Dan have fucked a lot. We have an active sexual relationship, you know?
Hey.
So yeah, so at some point I can't even like really talk about it. Yeah. Because then people start making.
You're right, and
Sure.
I think that's probably unfair to you. I want to ask you. So moving past, the accusations of simping or whatever. Do you have any reservations about seeing people you bring on stream?
Fuck no.
Okay, and why is that?
Because sex is fun. Why not?
Okay.
Chances are, if somebody's single, I have a flirty personality. A lot of people I interact with have flirty personalities.
Yep.
Usually the other person is the one making the first pass at me. Like Lav, for instance, DM'd me first. I didn't reach out to her initially. She reached out to me, and I think she's even admitted as much. And if somebody's gonna reach out to me and they're gonna be flirty and shit, yeah, fuck, why not? I'm in an open relationship. Like, why would I not?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that.
Yeah.
I think where it becomes weird, and we've had this discussion about people in workplaces. These are not your they're not employees, or not whatever. But one can easily make the case that, like, let's say, I'm coming at it from the super uncharitable position. You're a larger creator. There's smaller creators trying to grow. You guys have an unfair power dynamic. It looks wild on you. They're trying to grow, so they weren't able to voice their agency because they're worried that you're not going to bring them on stream or whatever it is. And you can fight that, obviously.
For sure.
What would you say to the people who might come at you with that kind of situation?
Might be people that feel that way, but what I would say is that, like, I'm hyper conscious of that dynamic, and if that even becomes a thing, I'll usually, like, explicitly address it. Like, I'll tell the person. Like, I don't know if I legally like publicly or not with Lav, but like I've literally said to Lav, like, hey, when she started to stream, because initially she wasn't streaming, I said, like, hey, like, I see you're, like, getting into streaming and stuff more, like, whether we do or don't have any sexual interaction, like, that you can always jump in, blah blah blah. Like, I'll have the conversation explicitly. You could say that, like, well, even if you have that conversation, they might still feel some type of pressure.
That's what they would say.
Yeah, but then at that point, there's two weird things that pop up. Is that, one, some people might feel the pressure even if nothing has happened, and then two, what about people that are like, what couldn't I theoretically say that some people might be abusing me? Like, what if there's some girl that wants to come on stream and then she, like, starts hardcore flirting with me to do it? Like, isn't she kind of, like, flexing a power dynamic there when she's like, I'm gonna get on her stream and be
Absolutely,
like, fucking, right? So, like, yeah, like, I try to be mindful. If there's anybody, and I always, I always encourage people to speak out if you think I've, like, fucked you around or I've done wrong to you or whatever. But, like, I don't think there's anybody that I've, like, they kind of, I flirted with them and then they said no, and then I was like, well, you're not coming on my stream anymore. Like, that, I don't think there's not even anybody that's even made that accusation towards me.
No, but what the issue would become, and this is not what I think is happening. This is not what I think.
Sure, that's fine. I understand.
Yeah, they would probably make the argument that because these people feel like they want to grow their careers, that they may not be in the right headspace to engage in these kinds of relationships consensually. And you might think like, yo, I check in, I ask them the question to double check. But because they're trying, because like when it's your livelihood or your career, I think people view it very differently than if it's just a random person who wants to come on talk. That's different than someone who's actually trying to grow.
Sure, and I could understand that. I think this is a very fluid situation where it's hard to call out a right or wrong, but there's red flags for sure. So these are like a couple of things that I would be like wary of.
Okay.
So these are a couple of things where I would say it's probably not as much of an issue. One is my platform is super open. There's a lot of smaller creators that jump on my stuff. Sure. If my shit was really exclusive and all of a sudden people started hopping on just because they'd fuck me, then I could say like, okay, well, this is a little weird. There's like 4 girls that are in like the super exclusive Destiny room and all of them had sex with them, right? That would be pretty strange because now it seems like there is kind of like a pay for play there. That would be one thing I would worry about.
So use the ratio. Is there a balance between the ones you have fucked and
it's not about the ratio. It's about that, like, if you're basically like any streamer that's involved in any of these circles, it's really easy to DM me and jump in my room. Like if you've been on like any Chud show, you can basically send me a message like, hey, I want to come in and chat about these things. Like, okay, sure. Or like I do like my sub call-ins or whatever. Like there's a ton of people that cycle through my rooms. It's not like an ultra exclusive club and all the girls that have gotten in there have just happened to have sex with me, you know?
Okay. All right, let me ask you this question then. Is part of the reason why you're willing to engage in these dynamics, even though there's like just a small amount of risk to you, okay? But you're like, hey, listen, whatever, I like sex, it is what it is it because it's easier?
What do you mean by easier?
I mean, they know about you. You get what I'm trying to say? They know what you do.
I mean, to some extent, it's like it's in my face, right? Like
right,
if I got,
right.
Yeah.
They're throwing
like,
the pussy at you, you feel me?
yeah, basically, yeah. I'm gonna
Yeah,
catch it.
so it's easier. You're like, I mean...
Yeah, of course, to some extent, yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like why do people tend to fuck like coworkers and colleagues and shit, right?
It's
or
'cause it's
students,
easy.
not students. I'm sorry, classmates,
Yeah.
right? It's because these are the people like in your vicinity and shit.
Yeah. I mean, even students. The reason why they fuck the students
it's because they're there, yeah.
It's not because they're there. It's because the students look up to them. So there's already that dynamic, and so they're like, there's an attraction there. Plenty of students want to fuck their teacher.
Sure.
Most people
That
have
is-
like a
yeah,
fantasy
no.
about a teacher they find attractive. They
It's-
want to fuck them.
There is that, but I think a larger aspect is just that they're all together. If you're like a
Sure.
29-year-old man and you've got a classroom full of like 18 to 25-year-old women, like it's at some point, right? You have to be very, very, very careful there, or you're gonna fuck up. Like,
Yeah.
right? It'll happen. That's why every famous guy. It's like why every famous guy eventually fucks up and cheats on his wife because all of a sudden he's got all these opportunities all the time, right? And then I also think that like the flip side of it is weird too, where it's like you never have sex with any coworkers, you never have sex with any fans, so like you exclusively have to go to like you're basically saying all you have is Tinder at that point, and you shouldn't even put your YouTube in there because you don't want to accidentally run into a fan. Like that would be like the alternative.
I don't think fucking fans is an issue. I think fucking fans or a fan whose career could strongly benefit from you, I think, is where it gets to the weirder portion. That's what.
Yeah, I guess, but I think that's as much on them as the other thing.
I agree,
Sure.
but I think this society doesn't allow for that to be the reality.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, you're right.
So
but like, dude, if you're doing some crazy shit,
I'm not thinking about what's right or wrong. I'm
Sure.
thinking about what's practical and what you need to do.
yeah. But yeah, I would say that that's like manipulation on both ends. If a girl messaged me and she's like, listen, I'm a blossoming YouTuber. I only have 100 subs. But if me and my 4 girlfriends all fuck you at the same time, will you like host my stream? I'd probably say yeah. I'd be like, sure. But she's manipulating me at that point. I'm only a man, okay? I'm only a human being, okay? But I'm getting manipulated.
I feel you. Cool.
But that's why I've always said that, like, and I always say this, like, people can leak logs if they want or whatever. Like, there's never been a moment where somebody's like, can I come on stream or whatever? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, what are you looking like today? Like, what are you wearing? Blah, blah, blah. Like, that's those types of, like, interactions.
Turn on your camera.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God, that was so creepy.
Turn on your
Fuck.
camera. My chat wants to see you. I want to see you. Turn on your camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
But I also understand that like the sexual dynamics of my entire life are like really fucking out there and bizarre. Like because like right now, like where I'm at right now is like my whole community thinks that I'm horny and have a sex addiction and I've got too many problems. And then all of the red pill people that I deal with think that I'm like a cuck that cries in the corner as like a BBC NFL player is piping down my wife and I get nothing. So it's like everybody's engagement with sex on the internet is like all fucking cringe as fuck to me.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I don't know.
I think both of those perspectives are kind of cringe to me. I
Yeah.
don't think you're a sex addict. I just think, sometimes as dudes we just engage in sex that probably isn't to our best benefit business-wise. And I think you can see that, but you're saying you're fine with it because like
Yeah,
it's not
maybe
that big,
too.
It's
There's
not
a-
that big of a risk.
It's also one of those things that becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So like, well, for instance, like people are saying it's a problem that you have sex with so many people. And it's like, it's not. It's a problem because you think it's a problem. But like up until the Mr. Girl stuff, there wasn't anything on my stream where people were like, oh my God, that improper sexual relationship. That had just never ever been a thing. It only became a problem when Mr. Girl said it was a problem, but it's not even a problem. It's just people think it's a problem because they think it's a problem.
I don't think it's a problem. I think it could be a problem.
It could be. No, that's always true, for
I
sure.
thought that before any of the Mr. Girl stuff. To be honest with you.
Sure. People
I
are even
thought that-
saying,
I-
real quick,
I
people are
thought
even
that
saying
a
Anna in
long
chat,
time ago.
even the Anna stuff only became a problem when Mr. Girl and Left started to mine that to make it a problem. But I understand the Anna stuff is a different situation, but like, it's only a problem because other people are saying it's a problem. But I mean, like, yeah, even for Aryanina, for anybody else, it's a problem because other people are saying it's a problem. But up until like the Mr. Girl stuff, none of this, nobody was like, oh my God, this is like a huge issue with the stream. Like, I don't think so.
I think maybe your fans were, but I think for me and what I've always been told and what's remained true is like you just don't f people at work.
That's one of those pieces.
And I agree with you that
Yeah.
it shouldn't be a rule, but I understand why it's in place because I've seen it get messy at plenty of work jobs I had, and I've seen it get messy for a lot of other creators. And so it was like a matter like I've had women before who wanted to work for me, and I said, listen, we work together, it can be no sexual stuff, and you flirt, so you cut that shit out. So if you're working for me, that's it. And that's where we went, and I'm cool with it. But I would not want to play between both because I've seen it get messy so many times. I just avoid it because I've seen it go bad.
And that's great if you do, but that's one of those pieces of advice where people are like, oh, don't ever f coworkers, don't shit where you eat or whatever. Everybody f coworkers. It is a rule of the workplace that it is, at least in the service low-level minimum wage world, it is absolutely true. Every restaurant, every fucking fast food place is the most incestuous fucking. Everybody's fucking everybody. Everything is messy. Now, maybe not in the fucking engineering world where it's like 95% fucking men,
True.
but if you walk into any restaurant,
True.
everybody's fucking
All
everybody.
right, peep this. You're 100% right. And I've seen people from those positions, like managers and employees, and get fired sometimes.
Well, that's different a little bit, but
Okay,
sure.
well,
I'm talking about coworkers fucking.
But even coworkers, I've seen places with anti-fraternization policies where, like, even them, like, they weren't allowed to be doing
Sure,
that,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
and then-
probably am.
And so, what do they lose? They lose their job at fucking Chick-fil-A. Who cares? It's a different thing when you're on these things and it's these levels. You get what I'm trying to say? Guys who have secretaries, well, they make them sign a bunch of NDAs and stuff because they understand if this came out.
Sure.
Okay, so what do? These people use sex workers, so they avoid doing that shit at work because it can become a lawsuit or they can lose their place in the company. You're not wrong about people fucking people at work. It's just generally the implications are really bad, so they have to sign a bunch of paperwork about saying they'll never engage in it or they'll use services outside of it, but
Sure.
they'll never do it at work.
Yeah,
Right?
I think that This is my take on it. It's one of the reasons why I think that adults fucking minors has become such a problem. This is my understanding of the world. If any man and any woman are in an environment where they're spending a lot of time together,
Yeah.
I think inevitably a high percentage of them will start fucking. So I don't know if we've talked about this before, but like one of the takes of being on stream is that like before, if you were a 25-year-old fucking a 16-year-old, you have to do a lot of creepy shit to even get to that point. Why the fuck is a 25-year-old even seeing a 16-year-old? It's usually not happening. They're working different jobs and they're in high school versus college or post-college. But today, you've got 30, 40-year-olds on these internet chat rooms of like 15, 16-year-olds, and just by virtue of them all being together, whether they're minors or not, people just start doing wild shit. And I think that's why so much
so
more
you're saying
happens.
accessibility is making this worse.
Exactly. That anytime you throw a bunch of men and women together in an area, eventually their shit is going to start happening. Probably. Not with everybody, but eventually, like, shit is going to go down. It could be coworkers, it could be worker, whatever the fuck it is. Eventually shit is going to... That's what I think. Yeah. And I see it happen over and over and over and over and over again where, yeah.
That's
but,
probably-
yeah. But before, society was kept on rails so much. Like, even if you were... So here's a funny thing. Today, I would say that like a 19 and a 17-year-old is cringe, or like a 20 and a 17-year-old is like a little bit cringe, maybe, or whatever. Or I'm sorry, people will say that it's cringe today, and I'll be like, I don't really know if it's cringe. But back in the day, like sometimes the age gaps were actually a lot harder to achieve, right? Like a 17-year-old that just starts dating like a 19 or 20-year-old, that would be really hard because that means that somebody from college is hanging around high school students looking for people to date. And you're either at really shitty college parties or you're a college guy like creeping at a high school party. Like that's usually the only way it can happen unless you started dating in high school and one graduated, right? Whereas today, everybody's thrown into the same arenas because everybody's online. Everybody's on Instagram, everybody's on Twitter, everybody,
Would you actually? So isn't that why they put people when they put the people on like sex offenders list? They may say you can't live within 400 miles of a school,
or you have to notify them or whatever. Not 400 miles, but
well, that might be much.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. So that you don't have the accessibility to even have the opportunity because like being around them might be a risk.
basically, I don't know what the reason is, but yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh
Check.
shit!
What? Dan's here?
Why would he not message me on fucking?
How long's he been there?
No wait, I don't know if this is Dan. Oh sorry, never mind. It's not Dan.
Okay. Hey, I'm outside your door. Open now.
Yeah.
Imagine it's Mr. Girl, bro. I'm going straight to the kitchen, grabbing knives. Mr. Girl about to be Mr. Cut. I'm not even playing. If I saw him in real life, I definitely think we have a problem.
Dan or Mr. Girl?
Mr. Girl. 100%. I wouldn't even assume this guy's coming around with good intentions or neutron champions. If I ever saw this dude in real life, I would assume it's a fight or something about to pop off, and I'd be ready for it. I'd be watching. I don't think this guy would just show up in my vicinity for no reason. So I would assume he came to do something.
Damn.
I'm serious. I really think he's actually a threat.
Oh.
What's poppin', Sherry? My half Dominican sister.
Hey, what's up? Steven, you're gaslighting your chat.
Over what thing?
Oh, here we go.
Over Lav being smart.
Oh God.
It has backfired on you for running the charitable defense for Max, where you had to play that clip for people to remember how fucking bad that was.
How bad what was? The rape thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What is she? I don't
Lav
know.
can't tell the difference between you being able to repeat her position and you supporting it.
Lav can't tell the difference. Oh yeah, but I don't think that has anything to do with her intelligence. That's just because she's a fucking moron. Do you understand? There's a difference there.
Yeah. Oh
Do
my
you get
God.
it?
No,
What?
no,
No.
no.
It's right now. Okay.
Why would she just, Cherry?
She
come
does
back.
that.
Yo, Cherry, you need to stop.
She does those drive-bys.
No, Cherry, you need to come back, girlfriend. Listen,
drives.
we need to have a conversation.
She does those drive-bys.
I even asked you to turn on your camera. I was being very kind. Come on now. All right. Thank you for coming back. So
Was
let
that
Steven
Rachel?
respond. Appreciate
I think that right now there's a lot of social pressure for her to act like a dumb fuck, and she's very bad at resisting any of that. So whoever's around her, like if Max were
going
to say
on?
tomorrow that 1 + 1 = 3, she'd like be tweeting that shit out and calling everybody that says differently like an asshole or something.
Chilling, how you doing?
Yeah, I understand that, but you also thought that people were just like not understanding Max.
I think that people had a hard time understanding him. Sure. I mean, like I gave a pathway to understand him, but yeah, I mean, I think now in retrospect, as the wave function collapsed, it's probably more creepy than non-creepy. Sure.
Yeah, so maybe don't do that super charitable thing, like for Lav and her intelligence, when it's like everyone else throwing it in your face, like, hey, bruh, this
I'm
is
not like it's not a
smart.
matter of just like. Here's a question: if Lav took an IQ test, what do you think she'd get? I feel like she would get like 120.
Pretty good.
Like,
How's your day
unironically.
going
That's
so
so
far?
hard
What have
because
you
you
been up
understand
to?
that you can look up most of the answers.
No,
to
it's
the
not about
free
looking up the
IQ
answers.
test.
It's just she has like.
She's absolutely the type of person who would look up the answers.
Yeah, that's not the
beforehand.
point of what I'm asking you. Okay.
Okay, if
Why-
she didn't look up the answers, I
why
think
is
she
the
gets like
backstab
the same results as Xander Hall. What was that?
Xander Hall? No.
Yeah.
You put
Oh,
Xander
God.
Hall and her on the same level of intelligence?
Yup.
Okay.
What, is Xander Hall smarter or dumber?
Xander Hall is like.
Shout out to Xander Hall, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, I love him. Okay.
So what do you
Pretty
think the
much
issue is
good.
then why she
That's a dope
can't
name.
confront
Is that the guy with the
those-
bisexual lighting thing?
No, Xander Hall's just special.
Okay, shout out to Xander Hall.
Yeah.
It just seems like a lot of her arguments are just regurgitated points.
Yeah, they are.
and
I
that's why
agree.
she can never
She hasn't
actually
critically
engage
engaged
with anyone.
Yeah, she hasn't
So there's-
critically engaged with a lot of the shit she talks about. I agree with that. She's regurgitating
Yeah,
all
the
the
but
shit.
Southeast
But you think, and I understand where you're
America?
coming from. You think that this is good debate tactics. That she's very, she's just
slippery.
winning an argument. But I don't think they're good debate tactics. I think this is like
What do you mean by good?
showing your face that you're a fool.
about
and
you?
don't know what you're talking
I mean,
about.
when I
you're
say-
going to repeat it from the beginning.
Sure, when I say good debate tactics, I mean like she has like high verbal IQ and she can navigate debates well. It doesn't mean she's making correct points or good arguments. She just stumps the
Yeah.
fuck out of people she's
Yeah.
talking to.
Yeah, that's not smart though. That's just.
You have to have I'm sorry, but you have to have a level of intelligence to even be able to have a sophisticated enough understanding of language to do that and concepts. And she does. She can run circles around people. Doesn't mean she's right, and oftentimes she's not. Doesn't mean she's not hypocritical, and very much usually she is. Doesn't mean she's making good arguments. They're usually dog
Virginia?
shit, but she's pretty intelligent in terms of her being able to do it. Like, but I mean, like, I understand there's a lot of people that aren't going to agree with that. That's fine. I'm okay. No one has to agree with that. I'm not forcing you to agree.
Cherry, do you play D&D?
No, I've tried D&D.
Okay,
once,
so when
but-
you like create a character that's like strength, dexterity, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, she's got like high like 16 intelligence, but she's got like minus
Yeah, that's
4
what's
wisdom.
up.
She's like socially retarded
do
when
you
it
do
comes
for
to actually
fun?
applying it oftentimes. And so I think that's like the argument, like the most like Destiny.
You
in
ever
this
played
game.
Elden Ring?
Yeah. She's like 16, 17 inch. She's like 6 or 7 wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cherry, you should play D&D sometime. It's actually a lot of fun.
Okay, are you gonna play?
No, I already play. I play on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Me and Steven are going to start a campaign
No. Maybe. But
in the future.
we'll see.
We're going to be role playing. Do you want to join?
Maybe.
I appreciate you being open minded to it. How does it feel? How hard is your clip knowing you were right about Mr. Girl and Laugh?
It's hard as.
Describe it.
Why?
No, describe the feeling, not the clip. No, describe how it feels for you to be right about everything. Okay.
She left.
I'm trolling it, so let me stop.
Okay, wait. Now Dan called me. Okay.
All right, yeah, you good. You can take care of Dan. Shout out to Cherry though. Shout out to Cherry. Shout out to everybody who saw it coming. You feel me? Shout out to Tree. Tree, if you're watching, shout out to you. Tree.
Wait, can you send Uber trips to other people?
Yeah, you can send. Absolutely, you do send.
Well, why am I getting on my Uber app, Dan's shit? I'm not getting charged for this, am I?
I think it's for your previous Uber trip. It just came up, potentially.
It's giving me the offer to tip. It must be for Melina.
Yeah, Melina might have charged you, because they were leaving in.
No, it's. Okay, I don't know.
Play video games?
Just believe, man. Just believe. What's up, chat? All right, chat. Run me some topics. Make it good.
How do you feel about white people doing African accents?
I have no problem with it. There's plenty of like white Africans who live out in Uganda and South Africa, and if you do it well, nobody's problem. It's only when you do the corny shit.
What's
Today I have monkey. No, don't make it bad. But if you do a great African accent, people are gonna love it. People, most cultures, like even if you do a good like Haitian accent, there's nothing wrong with it. Haitians will enjoy it, just as long as you do it well.
All right, so how do you feel about being able to buy and sell Orbiter stocks, Ava?
So what Orbiter stocks?
Yeah, you can be bought and sold on the open market.
Oh, bro, I don't think about that nerd shit.
Okay.
People said, "Yo, Adam, you're in the running for Buddy of the Year." I was
definitely
like,
not.
Fuck my, I don't care about none of that stuff.
Way more of a
Yeah.
Sekiro
Do I actually get a prize if I
Bloodborne
win?
fan,
Is there
but
like money involved?
Not yet.
Stellar
Supposedly
Blade-
there's going to be a
coming from
sponsorship.
Stellar
and,
Blade,
depending
Elden
on
Ring
how popular you are, you
feels
might
super
get some subs
clunky,
or whatever.
but
But
getting
it's
ready
these
for
fans
the,
are trash. They're out here selling and buying stocks
getting ready
and
for
then
the
giving
DLC
awards, and they give
because-
nothing. Yo, f you, chat.
I haven't missed
All
it
of
from
you guys who are
software games
participating in this
since,
shit and not putting up $1.
since
Get him out.
Bloodborne, I guess.
I see Dylan Burns joined. Dylan, what's popping?
Hello, hello, hello. How you doing?
All right, Mr.
Oh, what's
Burns.
up, stranger?
All right, Mr. Burns.
Hey, Lycan, how have you been?
Been well, man. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm back home. I'm happy to be home. Everything's going great.
We're gonna get ramen soon.
Dylan, do you have a graph
all
you
the
wanna bring
games
up to
I just
Destiny that I
mentioned?
can mention once he returns?
Yeah, I wanted to ask him a little bit more about his policy towards Russia nuclear weapons, because I've come to the conclusion that it's all bullshit. We should just call their bluff.
Word. Okay.
We should have called it
The moment
20
he
years
comes
ago.
back, we're gonna do politics.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Because I'm tired of
you
talking
ma-
about.
Why don't you tell
labs
me something
intelligence.
cool about yourself?
Amen, brother.
Anything but that.
Yes.
You know what? I got a
Something
message.
interesting.
I got a message
that people wouldn't
yesterday
know
because
about
I
you
think I
just
posted
from
like a
looking
few
at you.
replies to Mr. Girl's tweets. Just like it feels like you're putting like all your chips on a pair of twos here. I don't know what you're doing. That's all I said. I got like messages like saying like, "Hey Dylan, you should really stay out of this, man. This is some dangerous territory." And I got it from like 2 or 3 different creators. Like,
Yeah,
Dylan,
for
this
sure.
is dangerous stuff to weigh in on. Like, what? He's like, "There's no winning sides here." It's like, what the? What happened? Did I miss something? Did I miss something, or isn't it all pretty clear?
It is pretty clear. I think some people are like worried because like Mr. Girl's got serial killer vibes, so if you don't want to be put on a list.
Understandable.
Yeah. He's like legitimately crazy, and so yeah.
I
there's some
did an
people you
interview
don't
with
wanna
him.
find. Yeah.
I avoided him because all I could associate him was like pedophilia in my head
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's probably not a good vibe to just hang around.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm calling him a pedophile. It's just like I don't want my name associated with anything that somebody thinks pedophile. Then my name, I just don't want that. Like,
Okay.
period.
How do you feel about rapists?
I feel, I'm pretty anti-rapist. I think I've always held that policy personally. Maybe it'll change in the future, but for now, I'm pretty anti-rapist.
Word. Well, then you probably want to stay away from Mr. Girl, according to many.
Yeah, is he a rapist? Wait, what? Did he rape somebody? Did I miss something?
He's a self-admitted rapist. I saw a clip today that people just showed me, and I said that was wild.
Wow, why isn't he in jail? If he's a
Because the
self-admitted
girl
rapist.
wanted to go on more dates after she got raped.
So she was raped and then went on another date with him.
Hey, listen, somebody just send him the clip so I don't have to explain it because it feels weird. I'm not going to
Yeah.
play the clip.
Gotcha.
That was a
Do
really
you not
weird
answer
clip to watch.
questions?
Gotcha. He seems like a pretty weird guy. I did one interview with him, and he seemed nice in the one interview I did with him. He seemed fairly charismatic. I mean, it's kind of like weird, like back of the room kid weird, but like not in like a negative way.
Yeah, no. Well, that's what he said about himself. He said, I raped her. So I was like, word. That's kind of crazy to think about, but hey. Someone said Abba's being hyperbolic. I'm not. The clip is there.
Wait,
can
when
go
you
watch
say
it.
he said he raped,
He literally
did he,
said it.
Did he?
Was
Was it in
defending
court?
him.
Was he like on trial and he was like, I admitted I raped
this
her?
is his own video. Okay. Do I have to play the clip? All right, let me see if I can play it. All right, here we go.
You know, when I hear somebody's a rapist, I feel like I should have.
Hold up.
I shouldn't just accept it on face value. That's
How
all.
do I import and
I've learned a valuable lesson Monday. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't know. DGG mini chat. Let me see if I can pull up a voice overlay. Destiny mini chat. I'm just trying to see how I make it happen. Can I play this clip and everyone can hear it?
You can just send me the video. I can just see it there.
Oh, this is so weird. All right, let me see. I'm going to send you the video. You can watch it. And then
Awesome.
message. Because I don't know how he makes this shit work. Cool. Done. I just sent it to you, Dylan Burns.
By the way, are you ABBA? By the way,
I am.
fantastic. You have a podcast, correct?
I have a YouTube channel. I'm now
Fantastic.
managing a stream. Okay, so there, you watch the clip, you can watch it, and you could hear him say it himself, so I don't have to sound like I'm misrepresenting anything.
Awesome.
And Destiny's currently looking for Dan, because Dan's an old guy.
Got you. I have a lot of hatred for Dan.
Yeah,
Really?
Yes, I must spite him.
I'm
I'm gonna spite him.
literally
He said
going
he said
to
I'm only
die
a drama content YouTuber.
so that I
Did you
can
watch the
get
clip?
up and go to my computer
I'm watching it now.
and
All right, watch
fucking
the clip and
ban
then
you,
let me know
you
if
waste
it
of
was accurate.
fucking time.
All right.
All these
You
lights.
made it. You made it, buddy. Look, a Jew and a black person behind it.
Oh God.
Okay, you smell really good.
I tried.
Oh my days.
All fucking
I like the
talk
shoes.
the same.
wow.
You're
Oh,
a
no,
bot.
everything. Nice.
Hey,
Good job.
go on in, Dan.
Look at
go on
this.
in. Hold on, just roll it onto the carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. Which knee's fucked up?
The right one.
Sorry.
I mean, it feels fine unless I try to do exciting things.
Have you ever heard of this guy called Knees Over Toes?
Nope.
On YouTube, he does like rehab of athletes in their knees, like ACL injuries
God
and shit like that.
damn,
would
I
have to get
hate
surgery,
you
basically.
fucking people.
So he actually helped people
Like,
avoid that. with,
literally.
like good, like
No.
You had to click
Totally misunderstood.
a box that said
He said I
no
would need to get surgery,
soliciting.
but what he actually said was,
order to
I don't want
chat
to do shit with
in
him. That's
my
my excuse
chat.
to not actually rehab.
No, I've gone
And then
through
you
rehab.
come in
I've had it
here,
happen 3 times.
you
I've gone
send
through
me
extensive rehab. The
13
issue
messages
is that
over
I
a period
have,
of 15
very
minutes,
loose,
making
I
me
don't know if it's
react to
LCL or
you
whatever.
and
There's,
go
like,
ahead and
my
fucking
kneecap goes
die
to the
in
side
my
of my leg and
video
it's
game
behind
that
all
I'm just
3
over
times,
here
so
trying to
it'll go to
play
the
by
side and go straight
myself
down
and
there.
have
Okay.
fucking
So,
fun.
yeah, not good.
But
It doesn't feel
no,
good.
okay, that's sorry to hear that.
you've
Yeah.
got to
Okay, Dan.
fucking
This is the old where the magic
come in here and
happens, so
try
to
and
speak.
sell me
Very
shit.
magical.
This is a big day. Dylan, did you watch
Fucking
it?
shame on you, dude.
Yeah, no, he just kind of calls himself a rapist.
Okay, all right. So just to be clear, I wasn't just saying that out of
Who
nowhere.
calls who a rapist?
Mr.
Wow.
Girl called himself.
Oh.
Okay, so I wasn't saying that, so then everybody knows. Cool, good.
Is it obnoxious streaming with these lights like this all the time? Like if you accidentally.
You know, when you're in show business, as long as you get used to it. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, you know, kind of like the screaming fans, the paparazzis, you know, everything.
Does that happen a lot?
Yeah.
Yo, can I just say something, both of y'all?
Yeah.
You guys look way better in person than on camera.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not.
You actually do too, I would say, right?
Yeah, I get that all the time.
I feel like he looks, no offense, you look kind of like scuffed on camera, but in real life, you're like a clean, presentable.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
great
I mean,
stuff.
that's how I'm getting these women. You feel me? Not
Can I
online.
say, I don't want to sound mean, but I might sound a little bit mean. And this isn't mean. I like people of all shapes and sizes. When I saw Brittany on stream, I assume that she's a really chunky person. That's just the, when I see her.
Nah, you see a person. She
Yeah,
built.
she's, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, like, actually, I'm like, Jesus. But like, I see her on stream, I'm like, oh, she looks like a 5'9" woman who's like quite chunky, and that's okay. I love that for her. She's got nice hair, but in person, it's like, damn,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Brittany was walking down the street causing problems for me.
Yeah, causing, she was skating around, and I was like,
Yeah, you guys actually be surprised. If you guys saw Destiny in person, you think he's a lot better looking than he looks on stream. So yeah.
thanks.
I think that's a good thing. I would rather that than the other way
Than
around.
the other way around.
Because
Always, yeah,
I've
for
met
sure.
women who are way better looking in person, and that's always made me supremely more attracted because I went in with low expectation. And then the opposite end was like destructive. like when you see someone in pictures and they look gorgeous,
Oh,
and then you
no.
see them in person and they ass up or like they're like. Bro, it ruins everything. If I would have known what they looked like beforehand, I probably would have been more accepting. But my expectations were up here.
I'll just say there are a lot of women that are really, really, really good at taking pictures.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
That's
Oh yes.
scary.
Oh yes. So yeah, let's just say
How you doing,
you
Dan?
look really good.
I'm good. It was a long ride over here, and as I said, it was
I'm so
very,
sorry.
I reminded myself. No, I got reminded of why I don't come over here. And it's like fucking dangerous, even in the Uber. I was, as I said, I was popping the locks. There was like crackhead coming and like fucking knocking on the doors. And
Oh my
I don't
God.
understand how is this building so close to that? How does that happen? This is a nice building, and you're right there.
You
in the
need
shit.
to go. You need to spend time in like LA or like fuck
I've
parts
been
of
in bad
Seattle.
neighborhoods. I'm
This is nothing.
No, I know.
None of the homeless guys here seem like they want to
Close-
kill you. They don't even scream at you that much. Like
Oh,
generally,
so
like
you're classifying all of them together.
yeah, of course.
Oh.
Or you go to like West Hollywood and shit at night, like in LA or place in, or even in Toronto, places at
Gotcha.
night are like there's a lot of crazy
Listen,
dudes.
I was in Louisiana for years, okay? So don't tell me about frisky neighborhoods. I know.
Oh my
Frisky.
God.
They call me Senor Frisky down there because
Yeah?
I lived such in the shit.
Is that why they do it?
Yeah, it is.
What were you saying?
I was gonna say, like, you really thought like this area is kind of shady.
The section when the Uber I came, there was a section where I came, not right here, but like I think if you go, I mean, I don't want to say without like doxing him where he is.
White Dog's already online. You're fine.
Okay,
Gas station
so-
on the street, or
So I passed through and there it was certainly frisky, like right before you go over the river,
Yeah.
basically, and that's when it gets like a little bit, whatever. I mean, listen, compared to the premium neighborhoods that I'm used to, this is a little
yeah,
much.
like when we were out sitting eating ice cream and that one like dude, you
That was-
started
first
to
off-
try to stab me to death.
That can happen anywhere. Okay, fair point. However, I will say that that's like a that's a rare situation that happened, and what can you really do?
I want to ask Dan, have you ever been mugged or anything happened?
I've been mugged. I don't.
Like, have you had any bad experiences getting jumped?
I have one experience where someone tried to jump me. I was 17, and I was buying my very first QP. Okay. And
What is a QP?
Quarter pound of weed. See, I'm cool, so I call it a QP. It was a big deal. I wasn't a drug dealer.
If you're really cool, you call it a
like
quap.
smoking pot.
Okay.
Quarter pound of weed.
That was, it was shit weed. We called it Mersh.
I
Or
got some
Schwag.
good weed here if you want to smoke. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought a quarter pounder was just like the burger at
That's what
McDonald's.
I
I got excited.
No, it was a lot. Okay, so that was a lot because that was $250 that I was spending.
Okay.
And that was a lot of money just to fucking buy weed. Like I had to get rent done. I had a lot of shit to do. So, of course, the meetup spot where I give him the money and he gives me the fucking weed is at a convenience store. So I go and I pull up and I'm with my fucking dipshit friend. Okay, and I go. He's sitting in the car. Okay, or sorry, he's driving. I'm the passenger, and the other guy's here. So I get out of my car. I bring my backpack because it's a lot of weed. Okay, and I go over to his car, get in, give him money, get the stuff. Okay, as I'm getting out of the car, okay, another dude comes up to me, big guy. Okay, he has a knife in his hand. He says, "Yo, run your pockets, motherfucker." And I said,
Okay.
it's just my homework. I can't give it to you. I need it. I don't know. It was the stupidest excuse to say, but I said it. He's like, "Oh, good shit. Let me get what's in there." And I was like, "Dude, I can't give you my homework." I don't know. It's like one of these things I always say, like people when they're in road rage, they don't think clearly. I should have been like, "Here you go. See ya. Bye. That sucks. I just lost $250." But I became a fucking remedial person at that time, and all of a sudden, apparently, I'm going to give my life up for $250 of swag. So, anyways, I didn't do it, and I was like, "You." And I walked back to the car. And I got in the car, and my dipshit friend is sitting there talking to some guy outside, like, "Yeah, man, it's great." I'm like, "Can we go?" And he's like, "Hold on, man." And it was such an awkward situation. I wanted to get out of there immediately because this other dude who just tried to rob me is fucking walking around. Anyways, yeah. So that's the one time that I was almost in, almost in a
Run
night.
your pockets. No. Okay.
If I had
It was like, but you have to keep in mind that is what happened, but it was bright lights. It wasn't like it's a college town.
Yeah, if
So
I
it's
had,
like they weren't
I'm
gonna
willing to
actually
bet
do
that
it.
like if I had to guess, I'm gonna do a really big bet here, really big, really high. I'm gonna say 90% of people that do like armed robbery probably aren't actually ready to kill anybody. Most people just give their shit up. That like if a normal person comes up to you with like a knife or a gun and you're like no, they're probably not gonna kill you. They're probably gonna like hope that you just do it, and then if you don't,
They'll injure you.
they might hit
They'll
you. But I
injure
don't think a guy with a gun is gonna like shoot you.
Because the moment they pull out the weapon and they threaten you with it, I'm pretty sure it's still assault with a weapon.
No, it is, but people aren't thinking like the criminal penalties. Like it's funny because there's a lot of videos that get leaked at like gas stations. Someone will pull
Yeah,
like a gun or
right.
whatever, and the woman will be like, "No," and they'll be like, and then eventually they just like walk away.
Yeah.
But there are also videos where people kill people. So,
No,
but
it was. I think there has to be some sort of study into that dynamic of
like
like
how many people actually go through with it?
No,
or?
not just that, but like what goes through your mind, some chemical change that like you lose all like track of reality and reason. Like why did I not be like, okay, I don't want to die, have this. You
There's
know, road
there's
rage
like a
moment.
name
Fight or
for
flight.
What?
Fight or flight.
No. There's actually I know what you're thinking of, Lycan. No. There's a specific name for. I wish I could remember this. It might not actually be the thing you're talking about, but there's a name for like when animals are locked. You ever see two animals fighting, and every now and then they'll just stop and they'll just kind of like stand there and peacefully kind of like look off. Or sometimes an animal will be mortally injured and they're just kind of like walking and they're just kind of like chilling and they might eat some grass and like chill. There's a name for like that. Like
Oh yeah,
mental-
like I've seen like a gazelle half eaten by a lion,
Yeah.
and it's just like
They're just like chilling. There's a specific name, I think. I don't know what it's called for this type of response where things are fighting to the death and like everything is crazy and they'd be in the flight or flight, but then sometimes they just like zone out and they're chill and they're just like at peace or whatever. I don't know if it's a type of shock or what, but yeah.
Yeah.
Zombie mode? I don't know what it's called, but like there's a name for this shit happening.
Yeah, but it's just this weird thing where you all of a sudden would do something you would normally do. Like normally, I'm not gonna like throw my life away because you cut me off in traffic. But if you cut me off in traffic, we're gonna take this to the death.
Well, that's like fight or flight, but that's different than like the guy with the knife in front of you and you're just like, oh, here's my homework, or like, oh, I can't give you that because it's my homework, because you're like not thinking.
Yeah,
As
it's
opposed to
like-
like you're ready to like fight and run or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Do you ever act differently when you've got like a lot of money on you?
I
Oh yeah,
almost
absolutely.
never.
There's like
Absolutely.
so normally.
How much you talking? Because I've had a few bands on me one time because I need to buy something,
Okay.
and so I had that.
That's
and I remember
$1,000 is one band.
Thanks. So normally I don't ever think
I got,
about.
you know, I'm pretty
Thank
hip
you. We got
with
it
it,
then.
so I just wanted to let him know because
So-
he was gonna ask chat. So guys, what's a band
Yeah, I was not
exactly?
gonna
What does
say
he
that.
mean? Like,
So I don't give a fuck. I'll park wherever, do whatever, because you know I'm a cool guy. If somebody robs me, I'm a cool dude. Well, let's fight it out. Let's die. Fuck it. But as soon as I go to the bank, I remember I need to loan my parents $10,000. Okay, get some cash out of the bank. As soon as I have that money in my pocket, now I'm looking at like everybody because it feels like everybody knows you've got something.
Yeah.
I remember like. I go to like walk out of the bank and I'm kind of like walking corners and or looking around corners like is somebody about to jump me. You like get in your car real quick.
You turn
You're like
into Jason
driving.
Bourne.
You like stop at a stoplight. You look at the guy next to you in your car. Yeah, you're like fucking James Bond. You go to like park somewhere and you're like, is there enough light here? Is anybody weird around? Like all of a sudden it feels like the whole world knows you've got some shit worth stealing. And you're like, yeah.
it reminds me of like literally in Bourne, where he's like, "Why did I walk in here?" And I could tell you that the last 3 cars, the license plate ends with
Yeah.
Y. It's like I don't know. Could you just get 10 grand from the bank, bro? That's why.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Everything good in Destiny World?
Trainwrecks is ranting about some stuff.
which stuff?
Shout out to Train.
I couldn't read it all. Couldn't understand. What do you
I'm
mean,
gonna
Hassan?
have to guess. It has to do with Hassan.
Well,
The streamer world being hypocrites?
chill. Damn. Oh, have you seen I can't say her name on stream, but she's hold on, we're finding it.
Shishu who shall not be named
Oh yeah.
from the Big C.
God damn it. I'm not
What
gonna-
is this Discord?
Don't worry about it.
That's not a Discord. That's
No,
You
I know
don't need
that's
to
a
about
group.
it. Hold on, don't worry about that group.
What's up, Forethought? You coming here with something juicy? Or you just hanging?
Just trying to catch up. A lot happened while I was gone. Steve,
Oh, yeah. Oh, did you just get back from the wedding?
yeah,
It's not opening, it's locked, and you gotta go around.
I don't actually want to say.
Boom.
I was at a wedding for the past 4 days, and
You're so
I
dumb.
just
You don't
got-
want to what?
Oh, you actually said-
just caught up on all the fucking shit.
You're gonna have new marching orders, baby.
I mean, yeah, I expected. After the content blackout. Dude, people say I sound like Tabor. I sound like Mr. Girl. Pick one, guys. Come on.
I think a mix between both. You've got a
Okay, we're
softness
unmuted.
to your voice that's pleasant, kind of like Mr. Girls, but you do sound a little.
What are
like
you
Tabor.
liking?
Huh?
What are you talking about?
Oh, Forethought's here. He wants to catch up, get his
Oh,
new marching
Forethought,
orders.
what's up? You ready to turn anybody else against me? If my whole life falls apart, it's your fault, by the way.
Listen, dude. You just didn't see what I saw.
Uh-huh.
They were against you from the beginning. You just didn't know it yet.
Yeah, okay.
Tell me what the marching orders are, boss man.
We're just chilling. Be chill.
All right.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Has either of the dastardly duo come on stream yet, or?
No,
They're
they're
banned.
banned from the Discord.
Oh man.
Oh wait, Dylan Burns wants to bring up something about Ukraine and Russia nukes.
Yes.
What?
Destiny.
Yeah.
Destiny.
Gotcha.
I've been thinking about this for a while. We should just call their bluff completely.
And what?
In its entirety. After thinking about it for a while, and considering all the options, I don't think there's any reason they would ever actually go through with it. So I don't think there's any reason for us to hold back on like longer range missiles. I mean, like subsidizing Polish like planes to the Poland.
Is this like
I
a
feel there's
meme or
reason
what?
for
I
us
don't
to-
understand. What?
Should we deploy NATO? NATO
Well, what I'm
troops
saying
on the
is
ground?
we shouldn't hold back any of the aid restrictions that the Biden administration has put on it. So like Biden should be going further than he actually is.
Wow. Okay.
Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Am I
mean,
correct?
I don't
Can you
agree at all,
endorse
but
me?
I don't know what your rationale is.
Why don't you agree at all?
Because why wouldn't they start doing crazy shit? I don't know.
What do you mean? Why wouldn't they? Okay, what would
okay,
be the
Dylan,
benefit
is
of
this
them
the
using a nuclear
appropriate
weapon?
time for this discussion right now?
Stick to the hippy dippy.
Dylan.
God damn.
Okay, I'll stick to the hippy dippy. I'll
Wait,
stick
no,
to the
wait.
hippy dippy.
Come in
man.
tomorrow and we can talk about this, okay? Right now, Dylan, you're bringing on the mood with World War III vibes, okay?
Okay, look, it seems like your stream was collapsing from drama anyway. I was just gonna bring it to the world collapse. I'm expanding
It's
your
not
horizons.
collapsing on the drama. It's growing on the
Destiny,
drama.
why won't you do more
Fantastic.
politics?
We'll do it tomorrow. Dylan, come in tomorrow. We'll chat as much as you want about it, okay? Seriously, though, yeah, we will. I'm curious what your rationale is.
Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow about it.
politics.
You have a good one, okay?
Love you.
Do you?
See how I'm
Right,
being more
right.
forceful now with people? I learned that.
Is there a party that finds it frustrating that people seem more entertained or interested in any of the drama or like social commentary than they do in the political stuff. There's a lot of people who actually take your political takes very seriously and they enjoy it, and I think that's a big part of your calling card, especially initially.
That's just
But,
the
like,
reality.
your
Drama
growth-
is like always going to be like the interpersonal stuff because people can relate to it like so much more, and it's like so entertaining.
Because more personally visceral,
Yeah.
less divisive. Divisive in the sense of like everything's so stringent along political lines, but drama, like you can win by being the person on the right side of things.
Or even divisive stuff is entertaining if it's dramatic. Like people like drama.
Gotcha.
It's drama.
I mean, it helps that you attract the most insane people in the match.
Thank you. It does
Jesus
help.
Christ.
It is helpful. Thank you, Forethought.
I mean, to be honest with you, how did you find out about this guy?
But
Which guy?
Him.
Him?
Yeah.
I mean, I used to play StarCraft in StarCraft. I used to play StarCraft in StarCraft 2, and he did that at that time. But I only kind of reached out. I had another video platform competitor to Ustream, so I was going to try and get him because he was like the biggest that there was for
StarCraft.
No, he was the biggest like streamer on. Well, he wasn't the biggest streamer, but he was the biggest streamer that wasn't like at that time. Like Ustream, the content was all weird. It's like there was a lot of viewers on like a fucking bird giving birth and weird shit like that, or it was all like actual news on Ustream and stuff. So, but he was doing content which is more of what we wanted. So I was reaching out to people trying to get him, and that was
You were trying to sign him early to a bad deal.
it was a better deal than whatever he had because he probably had no deal at all.
It was the best he could get at the time.
It was the best he could get at the time.
Okay. I found out about you because of the John Trump thing.
Yeah, that was some wild shit.
I don't think that person's crazy though. I think some of your better interviews, some of your very interesting ones have definitely been with some unstable people. But like, I don't feel like John Trump was a crazy. Do you think John Trump was a crazy person?
He got really radicalized by 4chan. He's not crazy.
Yeah.
He just got really radicalized. No, you missed would have been really good. Actually, this might have been the other only narcissist I've ever met. Have you ever heard of XJ9?
No.
Oh shit.
Oh, that's the good shit.
It's just like a 10-part interview I did with a guy who he leaked his girlfriend's nudes because she played Lee Sin and he told her not to. It's like his whole life is like,
Wait, was she any good at the skill shots? Because honestly, I would consider it if she
He's
sucked at
just-
Neeson.
they weren't even playing ranked together.
They were playing ranked?
They weren't.
Oh, okay.
That's how mad he got.
That's
But it was just like a whole like world of crazy shit. Yeah.
Well, I see someone play Lisa and they're trash. That's annoying. No.
Sure.
That's how I found you.
You know
Into the
what's
mind of
other than
XJ9.
I actually like this guy. He's very entertaining for me.
Who?
Not Jesse Lee Pearson, the other guy with one of the glasses. Yeah, he's a conservative. He did the Christmas gifts. Ku Klux Klan.
Oh, Anthony Brian Logan?
Yeah.
ABL. That guy
ABL.
was some-
Shout out to ABL.
That's a fucking old meme.
You know the KKK,
That
the
one
KKK
is
weren't
one
even
of
that
the
bad. They brought
greatest
Christmas
moments.
presents to my family,
Yeah,
my black
so they're-
family.
They're okay.
One of the greatest Destiny moments ever. I had to triple take when I heard that.
I don't even know what to say at that point. Sometimes people bring up arguments,
You
and I
just
was
say,
like, I
like-
wasn't even prepared to defend this point. I didn't know I'd have to.
You just be like, oh, you're stupid, and that's all you can do at certain points when people just say shit that's so dumb. You're just like, oh,
That wasn't
you're
my experience
you're a moron.
with
Got
the
it.
Ku Klux Klan.
Well, you got me.
They brought us gifts when I was a child.
That's not even true. And if it was, it must have been like fucking poisoned or something.
Well,
Well, what?
it was besides the point. So here's the really radical take: is that the reality is that for a lot of people, especially in the later 1900s, like the KKK was not like this radical evil death organization. They were fucked. They were anti-Semitic and racist. But for a lot of towns, like the KKK was just like so widespread. You just kind of like joined the KKK. It was like what you did. Like
In
everybody
what
kinda
year?
did. Probably like around and before the Civil Rights Act. So like in the 40s, 50s, 60s. But like sometimes you just have towns where it's like everybody's like in the KKK.
So you're saying they did bring him?
I'm just saying that like in the I think it was like what, like the 1800s. When did the KKK like peak? In the 20s? Like in the 10s and 20s, like the early 1900s. This is like we join the KKK and we go and like burn people alive and like lynch people and shit. But I think like in the later like 40s, 50s, 60s, it was like, yeah, we're in the KKK. Like it's what we do. It's like our group get together, and we also kind of hate Jews and black people, but we don't like actually go kill them anymore.
A lot of that lately.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They didn't really go after the Jews nearly as much.
We've
You
had,
guys were harder. You guys were
we've had
easier-
our fair
You guys
share.
were easier to hide.
We've had our fair share.
Did you watch
Yo,
the Black
Dan,
Klansman?
I have
Okay,
actual
actually-
Jewish family now.
The what?
The Black Klansman?
Mazel tov.
I did watch it.
Is that okay movie?
I like one of the actors.
Oh,
yeah,
Black
it's alright.
Panther. Yeah.
How do you feel about the whole Jesse Lee Peterson outing stuff?
He's a bad guy, by the way, JLP. I think we should normalize not doing amazing memes and everything else. He's a
You
bad
don't like the
dude.
beta?
No, he's just he's a super bad dude, right?
Yeah. But you know,
He is, and like normalizing that is not good. I know he's funny, but he's funny because he's like,
what makes him a bad person? Because politics?
yeah, like a lot of the shit he does, right? Like can't be gay. Women are bad.
I think memes just don't discriminate. Even bad people can make great memes.
Damn,
No,
that was so deep.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but I just don't think people should fanboy over him. That's
I don't fanboy over him.
No,
I
no,
just
I'm
think-
not saying.
I think he got
but in
amazing
DDG,
one-liners.
people fucking love the guy. It's like okay.
What do you guys think about the fact that he was outed as a I believe they call him a homo predator?
When they out, see, he's not truly outed until like, I think he comes out, right? Because right now he can just be like, oh, someone hacked my account or something, and like that's it.
They
right?
got 7 dudes out here saying like this guy, and they're pretty much the same thing. Like I'm not saying it's necessarily true or not.
Yeah, that's a problem.
But
Like-
that stuff, like these are people who've known him for decades. And like I don't know. It's one thing if women come out. I feel like dudes coming out and admitting this stuff is like just so counterproductive for themselves. Am I crazy?
Dude, them admitting it?
Yeah, this dude, the guy did that to them. I don't know. Like I don't know. Maybe there are a lot of guys that are just making out these claims, but I don't know, for some reason I just never heard of dudes doing that. So that's why it kind of made me jump or double take.
I didn't look too much into it. But,
Okay. Yeah, pretty much like people through the church are like.
The only issue I had was that it seemed like the group that was outing him was like a really sus group. Like I heard like Milo Yiannopoulos worked with these people or whatever, so I wasn't sure. But don't let me cast out. I don't know. Maybe not.
Okay, all right. I won't push it then.
Damn. I missed some shit. Apparently this guy just said I should be put down.
Like a dog.
You got the blue tie-dye. Eyes, and let it be known that when I have love for people, because people are like, Marquette, I love you. No, you don't love me. Many of you don't know me. Shout out to the real ones who do know me. You've come to my conferences. You've been to my homes. You've traveled. Black people? That's strange. Gets worse. He says I'm gonna call out black people on their homophobia. This is one of those liberals who actually hates black people. Most liberals do. What they're actually trying to do is control our culture. They hate hip hop music. They hate black people. And the funny thing too is then he says I'm going DEFCON 4 on black people for homophobia. But is homophobia a real thing?
Maybe we could
Is
start
homophobia
this
a real
DEFCON
thing?
and
Because I don't think it is.
Let's-
Last time I
let's
checked,
not.
homophobia is a fake term that was created by liberals. So let's begin with the term homophobia. Phobia, the suffix phobia, is a type of anxiety or
Okay.
Wait, when did he say you gotta be put down?
Well, I don't know, but I don't want to sit there and watch like 10 minutes of a stream where we're just staring at his.
That's a Jordan Peterson. Let's talk about afraid. What does it mean to be afraid?
Dan the Man, Big D Destiny, Lycone the Werewolf, Abba the Boss. Thank you. It's called Giga Chatitis, $20 from Lawson Harrison. I think it was CJH5239. And Ricky Business says, flex your character sheet to ABBA. Dan will hate it.
What?
Yeah, it's D&D stuff.
It's
you don't
D&D
like
stuff.
that.
You wouldn't understand.
I've been
I played
telling
D&D.
I've been telling Destiny to like we should do a campaign. He just refuses every time.
It's just so much time. When I end my current one, I might. But like a D&D campaign is 4 hours.
He's
a
gonna
week.
do.
It can be anywhere. It can be 3.
Could
like
be.
my-
But even
my-
so,
my-
like 3 hours, that's a kick in the ass for that day, and it's every week, and we'll see. Maybe.
Yeah, I think if it's just 2 to 3 hours, it's pretty manageable. It also depends on how the sessions go and like the whole flow of it. But,
Yeah.
And you do it every week too? Why not every other week? I do every other week.
Because every other week you sort of forget what the f is even happening. Dan likes to watch it every week, so we do it weekly for him.
Oh, I think every other week might be nice. But
The problem is maybe if you got some entertaining people doing D&D, it wouldn't be so f***ing bad.
You want to talk shit? Go ahead. Who's not entertaining in our campaign, Dan?
Mr. Mitten.
There you go. There you got it, guys.
You called him on his bluff, and he went right through that fucking barricade.
He did.
Yeah, shout out, Dan. That was a big move, man.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Listen,
shout out,
I
Dan.
still love you.
Yo, Dan is even better in person. I'm not even gonna front. You
Yeah.
actually are. I like that. I like
Alright.
that. See somebody keep the same energy in person. I fuck with it. I like that.
I love you, Mr. Mitten. I'm sorry I had to do it. They made me.
Don't walk it back. You're boring as shit, Mr.
Actually,
Boone.
no.
Oh,
Mr.
you
Mitten,
are.
you moved away for a
Moving me
woman
sucks.
of all reasons.
He did
too.
move away.
Unbelievable. After
did
all the
away.
effort to get him to move here too. Unreal.
Oh, when you
no
were saying
loyalty.
when Muda lived here, you're not talking about Mudahar.
No, I'm talking about Mr. Mitten.
Okay, I thought
Like
Mudahar
discount
lived in
Muda.
your building. I'm like, damn, that's small. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I did D&D before. No big deal. I mean, I was in a different campaign. I was with Hassan and Will Neff. I mean, kind of bigger stream and Trihex. But I understand like.
What were you guys playing in the guy who got outed? Whatever.
No.
This came no. Who's your DM?
Big Lundy.
It's making it up. Cool.
No, he's not. And I actually read this before these guys grew.
Do you miss Hassan as a friend?
Yeah.
I'm still friends with Hassan.
Really?
Yeah.
I am. You know why?
Man.
Because, I recognized that he had skill and he was going places. So,
Did you sign him early to the best deal he could get?
I tried, but, he had too many connections. I would have liked to, but,
Yeah. What's that like for you being friends with both of them?
He's
Well,
not friends with Hassan. He's fucking lying.
I was friends, but I haven't talked to him in a long time.
Yeah,
so
like
I
3
still,
years.
Okay, if I was to meet Hassan on the street, be like, "Yo, Dan, what's up?" I'm like, "What's up, Hassan?" And that would be it because we're friends.
No, he'd say there's a DJG and he's coming after me.
No, he wouldn't. He knows better.
Also, you have nothing to offer him, so you can get rid of him.
That's not true. Hassan appreciates my my humor and my wit and my quick thinking and accurate speaking. All those things are huge things. But anyways, we had a very good D&D campaign that was slightly off the rails that went nowhere. But
What kind of food do we want to eat? Not to the restaurant, but just what kind of food?
Anything with lots of fish.
God, why? Gross.
Well,
this man doesn't like fish.
You know,
Any fish, salmon, squid.
Okay, hold on. This guy over here doesn't like pork.
Is that what I said?
Yes.
No, that's not what I said.
He said.
No, I want you to be
I'll repeat.
charitable.
I'm sorry. I'll be
and
charitable. I'm sorry.
go
Let me
for
say
it.
what he said. He said, when I eat bacon, it makes me feel bad about my soul. I think that's what you said.
All right.
Okay.
Since you're gonna be a disingenuous Andy, okay, let's be clear. What I said was, in my hierarchy of meat, pork goes to the bottom.
I don't think pork's that
It doesn't mean I think pork is bad. I've had good pork before. I've had chorizos. I've had good different.
You said you don't like sausage or bacon.
I don't like sausages. I don't like sausages.
Or bacon.
Listen. I understand.
Just be honest.
I
You tell the
understand
people.
you're very sexually fluid and sausage
honest
is right
with
up
the
your alley.
people.
For me, not my thing. I
Oh,
don't
I
like.
already know. What's the worst meat? Come on, you know it.
It's turkey.
Turkey. Right here.
Yes.
The worst meat.
It's turkey.
It's just.
I like turkey bacon.
But turkey bacon.
Turkey
It's like
bacon.
the worst bacon.
No, turkey bacon is better than real bacon.
Oh my god. Okay, hold on. We got a super chat coming in from my biggest fan.
Saints.
You know, justice will not truly be served until these people are put down. You know, and that's when it'll really be put. You know, justice will really be served.
That's right.
And I do want to be clear that anyone that associates with the enemy is the enemy. I don't want to hear anyone say like, "Oh, Marquette, I listen to both of you guys. We're completely ideologically incompatible."
Saints.
I guess I turned into the enemy real quick.
Base.
How did this thing get so deep so fast?
He made some video responding to me, I think saying something dumb, and then I was like, oh, we should do a debate. And he's like, okay, let's do it. And then the whole debate, he was like, Steven, I'm just like getting some basic information about you. Is it true that you quit college because you were a lazy f***ing loser? And I'm like, well, I mean, it's no. Answer the question. And I'm like, well, I mean, like I was working. Oh no. It's a tier 5 school, right? And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's for a music. No. Okay. Is it true that you abandoned your child like a lazy deadbeat father? And I'm like, well, I mean, no, I was there until no. It's like that's like the whole interview.
Your neighbors must hate
Yeah,
you.
they must, dude. I feel bad for him. Like, okay.
Why are you so loud? You don't have to be that loud.
I do have to be that loud. Oh, and I compressor today, so now it doesn't burst their ears. So now I can be as loud as I want.
Why? Oh my god, I feel so bad. Luckily, it's probably only below you. Are you in a corner?
No. I'm in a corner. You walked up here, motherfucker.
Well, I don't know like how the shape of this.
There's a whole building over there. There's a whole part of the building.
Complaints before?
Thank God, not here. When I get complaints, I leave.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you haven't had any complaints.
Wow.
That's unfortunate.
Are you strapped up yet?
Oh my God, I have a sick shotgun back there.
No. Are you strapped up? You got to have a piece
No,
that you
I
carry
don't.
with you.
I
No?
need to bring mine up from Nebraska, but
It's not hard to get it here, and then
I'm just lazy.
Put down.
Put down like a dog in the street, like a fucking gusano.
Bro, there's no way YouTube's not gonna put down all that.
No, it's okay. Black person. Oh, actually, no, it's YouTube. They actually probably aren't okay with
No,
that.
you really can't.
It's not Twitch where black people can say that. It's YouTube where nobody can say
okay.
that.
Well,
Like I don't know.
Who knows? It's all good. It is what it is.
okay.
You know, it's another death threat. It is.
Can I
what it
get
is.
But it's one of those things where it's
Stream
just like,
please?
y'all have your disagreements. So just be smart about the way you guys engage in the rhetoric online.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I just,
You know how like rappers end up like killing each other a lot, like over disagreements? Do you think
That's what
that'll,
I feel like a rapper a lot.
Do you think
yeah,
that's
true.
gonna move into the streaming game as well?
No.
The streamers gonna start taking each other out?
No, I don't think so.
No.
No. Outside of Mr. Girl, I've not met a single or seen a single streamer who I ever thought was actually capable of like real life violence.
Can you imagine when streamers start putting hits out on each other? It's too because if you were like somebody that did like assassinations for hire, the streaming world is a good because there's people that get a lot of money here. Like I'm sure there are rappers that kill themselves for less. You got streamers making big like
I'm not
mid
sure
six
we should
figures
do-
a month. Like $50,000 is enough money to get a lot of people in this world whacked.
I've seen streamers walk up to each other after like being super hateful to each other online, and it's the most timid Luke Water.
Not me. I'd be
encounter,
real.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I find it cringe. So
Yeah, they do
Do I
that
think but it's probably good. Like I'm saying this as it's a pejorative or a bad. I don't think it's a bad thing. It's good. It's good that they're not going to get violence because I feel like violence is a very serious thing. So they shouldn't just be quick to.
I just wish that they would match their online attitude then. Do you know who Jackson Hinkle is?
True. But I agree with you. I wish they would match it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that the reason why they're not matching it
Because they're pussies?
leads to an outcome where they're not violent.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
But I agree with you. Like, don't be crazy online than be in person. But it's probably better. But I wish they weren't crazy online. Period. So yeah, sorry. Who's Jackson Hinkle?
Oh, he's like some guy who talks a ton of shit about me online, like really nasty shit. And we met each other one time in real life, and I was like, I'm not shaking your hand. And it actually broke his mind. He like complains about it to this day. He's like, when he saw me, he was so fucking rude to me. I was like, you say so much weirdly personal, like mean, disgusting shit about me. Like, why the fuck shake your hand? And that was enough to break him. It's just funny how like different people are online versus real life.
Cringe.
But I don't like that shit where people are like super mean online, and then when they see you in real life, like, oh dude, what's up, man? I say that shit just kidding.
Suck my nuts.
Yeah.
I've done that with enough people. I'm like, don't even look at me. Don't
Yeah.
even talk to me.
Exactly. Or we're gonna pull our strap out, right, Dan?
No.
We're gonna pull our piece out. And then we're gonna make peace.
The glicky.
You are so white.
The glicky is what you pull out.
True.
Yeah. Come on.
There's such a contrast between like Dan driving here and be like, the neighborhoods were so dangerous. I'm gonna get the blicky, bruh.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I can call them like I see it, you know?
All right, what are we going for food?
What kind of food do we want?
Good food. You know the place that we've frequently gone with the big appetizers? We could go there. They have a lot of fish selection.
Fogo de Chao?
Well, you don't want to say the name because now he's kind of on a hit list.
There's like 3 of them, and honestly, like Brazilian barbecue is overrated.
Well, we're not going to that, so don't worry. But we're going to. A
Wait,
place.
hold on. What did you just say was overrated?
Brazilian BBQ is overrated.
Not true, but that's okay.
It is absolutely.
We're not going there
It's
now
just
'cause you
barbecue, okay?
It's
barbecue.
good ass. It's like the best fucking meats.
Ban that guy. Who is that?
It's just
Man.
barbecue. Listen, like Brazilians, they have great foods.
What do you mean it's just barbecue? What do you mean when you say that?
I mean, it's just their own version of barbecue. It's just barbecue. Like, who cares?
I'm remembering your fucking name, Prince Man. I'm coming for you.
If I think of national foods, you know what I mean? Someone's saying like, oh, Brazilian barbecue. Like, who cares? The same way Korean barbecue is nothing crazy.
Okay, but Korean barbecue is like meh. But Brazilian barbecue, the meats, at least at Fogo de Chao, are really good.
Sure.
Oh
you
my
feel
God.
that way, bro. I disagree.
You're just...
What?
You're wrong. You guys are actually triggering me.
Well, it's barbecue. You just you may like the spices. It's just barbecue. It's nothing special.
You shouldn't
like
argue with
if
them
I
with
go
the
have
food.
Persian food, I'm gonna be impressed.
Where can you go where you can eat like 15 different types of cuts of meat in the same meal?
Yeah,
Hold
they're
on,
all garbage except for one.
Hold on, stop. Just because Fogo de Chao does like a crazy assortments, generally Brazilian barbecue is not as diverse as that.
Oh, do you want
That's
some
not a
bacon
cultural
wrapped
thing.
chicken? What about some chicken
No, you
heart?
don't eat the chicken. Why the f- you go to a place and eat the chicken?
I'm just saying the
It
shit
really,
that-
like the
Alright.
15 different cuts. That's like depends on what restaurant you're at. That's not like a Brazilian thing. That doesn't make Brazilian.
No,
barbecue.
sure. Well, we were talking specifically about Fogo de Chao. It's a
Okay.
good ass restaurant.
Okay. Well, if you want to say like having different cuts of meat is amazing when I barbecue, then sure.
You guys are
It's okay. It's
triggering
okay.
the f-
You have no experience.
So wait, if you went to
No experience with what?
Hold on. No, wait. So if you went to Korean barbecue and they have 15 different cuts of meat, all of a sudden Korean barbecue's the goat.
When I go to Korean barbecue places, it's usually like meh. But or it's like a fun social experience. But if I'm going to like a really good Brazilian barbecue place, I'm expecting a good experience.
So if you went to Fogo de Chao Korean edition, then all of a sudden it's amazing.
No, I was saying Fogo de Chao is cool because you have 15 different cuts. It's not really 15; it's like 7 or 8, but it's really, really high quality. They're usually really good.
So you went to a restaurant with high quality meats. So if you went to a
Yeah.
Korean restaurant with high quality meats, wouldn't you come to the same?
Yeah, I'd probably feel the same.
So it's just barbecue. That's what I'm saying. It's not like
Well, sure, but it's good food. Yeah.
okay. So you don't
Like,
love,
if I go to, like,
you don't love Brazilian barbecue. What you love is Fogo de Chao.
Sure.
Okay, so say that.
Okay. Well, I did. I was saying it's a good restaurant.
Okay. You
But I mean, like, technically, I guess there's probably shitty. No, there are shitty Brazilian barbecue places because
I know,
I've
I
been
know.
to like 2 or 3 really good ones, and I had a girl, and we were in. It was either Glendale or something else, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna show you a really good place. She's like, where? And I was like, there's a Brazilian barbecue place. We're gonna go, and we went. And it was horrible. But it was like a $25 a plate person. I was like, oh no. But no, I know what you mean. Yeah.
The thing is, I got like my hierarchy of like cultural foods and stuff like that. I love Brazilian people. I think their food is mid. You know what I'm saying? I say that every time. I've been to Brazil. I had a lot of it. But here's the problem: you can never say any of this stuff. You can't have your hierarchy because people grow up on this food. You know what I mean? For them,
Wait,
it's
what
like
is
their
what
mom,
actually
they-
is Brazilian food? I have no idea.
You've never had any of the foods from Brazil?
I don't know. Have I? What are they?
Like They have the one with the beans. Like I'm just not a big fan of. They have a bunch of different stuff. I can't say it's all Portuguese. Have you never been to Brazilian restaurant? Period.
I've been to places, but it's always been like Brazilian barbecue restaurants. So I don't know how much of that food is like actually Brazilian versus.
Brazilian barbecue is just like a type of way to prepare the foods, but.
Because beans is like. I'm cute.
No, it's like because it would be like beans with like certain meats and then rice. I'm just not a fan.
Good.
Hey, listen. Listen, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I've had it. I went to a bunch of different restaurants, had some hood cooking when I was in Brazil. It was alright.
Ooh, we gotta call them out, guys. Don't let them get away with that, chat.
Here's feijoada. There you go.
Oh yeah, now the chat said it.
Okay, there you go. But that's what I'm talking about. Feijoada is what I'm talking about. So, I put, for example, British food at the bottom. That's like literally.
That's
like,
not even like a real thing.
It is.
British food.
It is.
You know what? British food doesn't go on the bottom. It goes near the top. You know why?
Why? Because of colonization?
Because that's where we get our breakfast from.
Fuck it. English breakfast is disgusting.
There's a key.
What? Hold up. Is the English breakfast not nasty? When you go to a hotel and it's the default bean and they got the most disgusting beans.
Blood sausage.
This is one of those guys.
Blood
like,
sauce.
This is one of those guys who's like, oh my god, for breakfast, I want to eat a cold cut of meat on a piece of bread, and it's like, oh, what a great breakfast with a slice of cheese.
Blood sausage.
Oh my god.
Listen to what that sounds. When you guys go to fucking Ireland and then have haggis and think it's
that's
good food?
different, but blood sausage is so good.
Disgusting. You know what? Ireland, you go to the bottom too. Sweden, your meatballs trash. Go straight to the bottom. You guys are all going to D or F tier.
You know we haven't imported yet from British breakfast that we need. I don't know why we don't have it in the United States. It's goddamn roasted tomatoes. Fuck, that shit is fucking awesome.
I don't think you need to import those.
Well, we don't have them. When you go to like breakfast places at hotels or whatever, they usually don't have those. But like every British, or at least every time I go to like breakfast in London, they always have those cut in like fucking roasted tomatoes.
You know, there's a new keyboard. I don't remember the name, but I can have Heinetter tell me. He was buying it, pre-ordering it, and the big thing is the switch has variable position. So as you go down, normally you'd have to come all the way back up before you could go down again. But now
I don't know what the. The switch. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay,
so like this one, like you could go down and now it'd be activated, and then you can just come up a little bit and go down again, and it would activate it again. So basically, it's not like you have to come all the way up to go down. The reason I bring this up is you're doing the fucking rhythm thing so often. With that, like you could come up just a little bit, and if you go down again. Do you understand what I'm saying or no? Or are you fucking with me on purpose?
I don't know what you're saying.
You literally don't?
Couldn't you do like...
Wooding HE, that's it right there.
What?
The Wooding HE. It has a graphics. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
You should actually care about this shit. It's like a fucking, like, apparently, like, very interesting new keyboard. You're such a stupid fucking shit. You know that? No, look at you. God forbid someone tries to fucking help you with what you do. Sorry. Yes, big fucking fun and games. Hilarious.
I just love the explanation.
How could I do more than what I do? How can I do more? I do so much.
I'm just imagining you like at a store and you're like, okay, this switch, like normally they go...
He knew. Whoever said knew.
But this one is
he
like...
knew. He knew. Look at the fucking... If you go look at the thing, you'll see. You know, it's exactly.
Some girls are like, you wanted to like deep throat you, but other ones you're like, no, just stay at the top like this. You just want to like with it.
Why is it always sexual with you? You're a fucking deviant. You know that? Actual deviant.
It does this. Is the key. It does this.
It's not funny. He's like, you know, it does do that. It's not funny.
The more you say it's not funny, the funnier it becomes. German food's also trash. There you go. Whoever asked.
What?
Yeah, German food's disgusting. You ever look at those plates? Looks like a fucking sausage.
Get a big ass fucking schnitzel and
trash. Put that straight towards. I put that in D tier. S tier, Korean's going straight up there.
Or those huge like legs of like what do they do, like turkey or chicken and shit? Like oh my god.
Spanish food is super fucking mid.
Oh my god. What food do you like?
Paella's going into C tier. I'm putting I said Korean, Vietnamese, Asian food is just superior. I don't know why, but then motherfuckers just make some fire stuff. I put Nigerian food.
Do you like Mediterranean food?
Absolutely. All my days. You never had good Persian, Lebanese food?
He hates
I've had a lot of Mediterranean food.
Wait, Mediterranean going straight. Greek can also go up there too.
Greek shit.
Greek is going to S tier.
He was just saying he hated hummus completely.
I don't hate
hummus. Is not everything.
No, hold on. Let me be clear. I don't hate hummus, but I will never in my life get excited about hummus. Okay? It's like hummus to me is brown person's guacamole. Okay? Like, if I had the opportunity to have guacamole, I'll probably take it. But I'm never getting excited over guacamole.
I don't know how you can be so uncultured.
Okay.
Hey, listen. I'm not mad. Hummus is not everything. There's different things. What about baba ganoush?
That's good, too. That's
Eggplant.
really good. Yeah.
Eggplant. Okay.
No? Not anything? Baba ganoush?
He wants, like, fucking Wendy's.
He wants McDonald's and Wendy's. Meanwhile, the last time I was at a fast food restaurant, how long ago, Dan?
I don't know. You're probably working there.
I would say what else? Oh, Mexican food's going S tier.
You know, Mexican food here is garbage.
True.
What are you?
Because you don't have Mexicans in Miami. You only have Cubans.
Yeah, I don't think I've met
Cuban foods are going to D tier. Sorry, Steven. I know it's your people, but like Cubanos are trash.
There's some. I like Ropa Vieja, and Ropa Vieja is. I think that's specifically.
Am I triggering you with the Cubans?
No, Cuban food is super boring.
Okay, all right.
Ropa Vieja is amazing, and Vaca Frita is like okay.
Portuguese food. Portuguese just eat a lot of fish, but I will say pastel de natas are
You like
fire.
ceviche?
So I'll give it. Ceviche's from Argentina. Ceviche's alright.
It's Peruvian.
Oh, sorry, ceviche's Peruvian. Yes, my bad.
Same shit.
They're like right next to each other.
Yeah.
I fucked that up.
It's not the right. It's all the same shit.
Argentinian is most
really
of the.
It's all the same shit.
It's really.
They ship cocaine to us. They get a lot of crime. We try to change all the governments in the '60s. Like, yeah, it's South America. You know, it's all the same shit.
What about Russians? What in their food?
I don't. Is there such thing as Russian food?
Sure.
I'm not even going French you, bro. When this whole like Ukraine stuff was happening, people were like vandalizing Russian restaurants, and I was like, "What the fuck is Russian food?" Anyways?
I have no idea. What is a Russian dish?
I thought it would be like pierogies with like snow as a side dish. You know what I mean? Like,
So borscht is a really big one. They're really big into like pastries with meat inside of it. That's
Okay.
a huge part of it.
Oh, that whatever the fuck those are usually awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're really high calorie shit. They're big on pickled vegetables as
Okay.
well.
That's interesting.
You know, fuck, I'm not gonna remember the name. There's a pasta that they really like.
Yeah. I can't rank them then. I can't rank Eastern European food.
Okay, hold on. There are fast food restaurants because you mentioned the meat and pastries. Have you ever heard of Auntie Annie's? Or
Yeah,
Aunt
I
Annie's?
think that's at the airport.
I feel like that only exists in airports.
Yeah.
They're so good. Oh my
Is it really?
god. Yeah. It's like so bad for you, but it's so good. Holy shit.
What is American food? As our two resident Americans.
I feel like it's gonna be Midwestern food.
Like
when
what?
I think of American food, I think of like steak and potatoes and vegetables.
Barbecue, cheese.
Oh no, that's true. South, like soul food and shit, would be like American food,
Yeah.
right? A lot of
Okay.
fried shit, a lot of.
What tier are you putting them? A or S?
Well, it
American.
depends. Some of the best barbecue you can have is like some of the best food there is.
Okay, I think
So
America
fucking
might be
good.
close to S then. Because I like
Really good barbecue. I mean, man, if you pull up like a fucking brisket that's been
Dude, if you
nice
go into
and
some of those
Burritos?
restaurants, you have to go to restaurants in the South where when you walk in the back, there's the dirtiest, biggest fucking like black charred fucking deep fryer, like where they pull that shit out of. Oh my god.
And like I'm talking like the brisket comes out and there's like this fucking bark on it.
Oh my god.
There's a
Holy
place
shit.
here-
I feel like the food must be carcinogenic, but it's so
absolutely,
fucking good.
absolutely. You know, you guys
fuck.
sound like you're
I'm
giving me
getting
heart
hungry,
disease.
honestly.
I'm putting America S tier.
Oh, and then also, if you are
Not for health reasons.
if you want to die, okay,
I wanna-
there are certain like carnival or fucking fair foods where you get like. Have you ever had? I almost want to mute the stream saying this. This is dangerous to talk about this. You're talking about gateway drugs. Have you ever had a deep fried Oreo?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Those are really popular at barbecue.
Oh my god.
They do it with Twinkies too.
Poof. Or have you ever had like you've had fried ice cream before, right?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
That's
All
not.
right, listen,
I don't get
all
the
this
fried ice cream thing,
diabetes.
Oh my god, it's so good.
All right.
Oh Jesus.
French food goes to A tier. Them portions are trash, but food's pretty
though.
good.
Yeah, but some really good French food.
Oh, really good cornbread. Oof. Oh, you don't like
Still
cornbread though. Dan
diabetes.
doesn't like cornbread
Cornbread's fine. What do you,
No, he
wait,
doesn't
why are
like
you
it.
saying I don't like cornbread?
because you just shook your head when you should have been excited.
What? No. Okay. I don't know what to say anymore.
Ethiopian food is A tier. Ethiopian food's amazing. There's not enough variety, but I could put it A tier.
I don't even know what Ethiopian food is.
I've got to take you, man, when you come to Montreal. I'll take you out.
That
It's
was
amazing.
really
It's a lot of
big.
fun. Yeah. Ethiopian food's A tier.
We're gonna go to that one
It
place,
all
Dan, right?
revolves around
Australia, yo. One bitch wanted to get me to try Australian food. I googled that shit. It's just a bunch of weird looking candies. I'm not eating no Australian food. You ever had
What does Ethiopian food revolve around? It's around
So it's a lot of stews of different kinds, like
Soups,
vegetarian
right?
stews.
Stews.
And then it normally comes in on something called injera, which is a teff-based grain. And then it's like almost, it looks like a pancake to people, so that's why I describe it as for folks who've never had it. And then basically you take it to dip into stuff and eat. But it's like a lot of variety from vegan options to meat options, so it's a lot of fun. But yeah, it can be a bit lonely. So why do I say it's A tier when I'm Ethiopian? Because I'm honest. I don't lie. Okay, even though it's my people, I'll tell the truth. I love Ethiopian food, but if we're being honest, most things being injera based is limiting. So yeah, it goes A tier for me. But if you ask me what I would eat for the rest of my life, it'd be S tier Ethiopian. Just for
Do you like Indian food? Indian food is my
great.
S tier. The best thing about Indian food is it is amazing. And when I was in California, if you find any girls in California, there's like a 45% chance that they're fucking vegan or vegetarian. And Indians have a lot of vegetarian food.
Yeah.
So you can always go and get amazing food for yourself. And if you get a girl that's vegetarian, she can always get really good food.
You know the problem with Indian food? This is more so about like how a lot of restaurants prepare the food, but a lot of it's just done with so many oils and like in bad ways that if you are able to make it at home, I would probably put it S tier. Just like, but like the restaurant versions of them are just like very bad for you normally. But I agree, it is so varied in Indian food. S tier.
Gotcha.
I mean, I think the S tier is pretty fair. You got America, you got Japan. I put Korea because Korea's got so many great options.
Who makes like when you think of like a really good steakhouse with really good steak? Is that American or are there other?
I think
countries
of American. I feel like it's steak. Americans are definitely steak. No?
That's definitely my favorite type. Like if I could pay a lot of money for something that's really good, steak is like my go-to.
Yeah. Well, who else is in S tier? Mexicans. I think we got to put them with the tacos and everything else that they prepare.
I like Taco Bell.
I'm gonna be honest. Taco Bell for me is a really good litmus test of if somebody has dog shit opinions or not. Because everything at Taco Bell is good. Taco Bell is the only fast food restaurant where I can drive through and they're like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "I don't know, like 4 and a 7. Give me whatever the fuck and I'll eat it." Because everything at Taco Bell is good.
Okay.
Everything at Taco Bell is good.
Let me say this.
I
I'll say two things in your defense.
I don't do chicken. I do beef.
Oh, sure, whatever.
Taco Bell is disgusting. 1, 2. The Crunch Wraps and the Supreme Fries are delicious.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't disagree that they taste good, but I just feel like it's just garbage food.
Why? What's bad?
I mean, it's not even meat.
Dude,
Well, what is that? What the fuck is that
the
mystery
Dorito
brown stuff?
Tacos. Oh my god, those Doritos Locos tacos are so. The Mexican pizzas are so good. Even just like the chips and queso are so good.
Do you like spicy food?
Yeah, obviously.
Dude, the best is like a fucking nice like lamb korma, as spicy as they can fucking make it. You ask them for fucking Indian spicy. That's the
At
best.
where? At Taco Bell?
No. Just like an Indian restaurant.
Oh, there's a dish that I always get called chicken vindaloo. That's like my favorite.
Yeah, or vindaloo or what's real? You know what? I feel like the answer. What's the difference between chicken korma and chicken tikka masala? I feel like I'm afraid to ask. And
Chicken tikka masala is the one that comes out kind of like reddish.
Yeah. And korma is a little bit more yellow.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Indians, they put a lot of coconut milk and everything. It's good.
I don't know if we've argued about this on stream before. We have to leave pretty soon also. This is our last topic, okay?
Yeah.
I don't like it. When I go to a restaurant and I order a dish, don't ever fucking ask me, how spicy would you like it? There should be a way to prepare a dish, and that's it. When people are like, do you want it from like a 1 to a 5? I'm like, I don't know. Just fucking make it how you're supposed to make it. I don't like that shit.
Would you say the same for steaks?
No, I disagree.
What?
Would you say the same for steaks?
For spiciness or for how you prepare it?
For how you prepare it.
Are we going to steakhouse?
We might. Do you want to?
No.
Where we're going is a lot of different types of food. Well, does it?
Okay.
So there's a place if you replace that last part with fish.
Okay, cool. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I disagree with that because.
So you'd be like, oh, I want like the level 2. You're the guy that thinks Dark Souls should have.
Bruh. There's certain places where they mean such a crazy amount of spiciness that you wouldn't be able to finish your plate, and so it's very sensible if a bunch of people are going to eat the same spot.
But then you just don't order that type of food.
Well, you should go to that restaurant, period, or the restaurant
I don't
who
know.
wants to
Is
make
there a
money.
restaurant that only has spicy food? Like even Indian, like chicken tikka masala is never going to be that spicy.
They have super spicy versions if you want them.
Then you shouldn't be ordering chicken tikka masala. I don't know.
Why not? What if I want the flavor, but I want it with extra
It's
peppers?
not the same flavor with extra peppers. You're changing. You're fundamentally altering the composition of the dish at that point.
I disagree. And you call it marsala?
Or Marcel, whatever the fuck it's called.
Marcellus! Tiki Marcellus!
You misspoke.
You want to head out?
You misspoke.
Are you? Yeah, Dan. You want me to move the microphone so people can see the?
What?
I think.
What? What? See what?
Somebody rewatch the stream and then make an actual tier list with everything I said, and then see. I think I put too many things in S tier, so I'll fix it later. But I stand by what I said. Brazilian food is mid. British food is trash. So put German down there, and then Indians, Asians, and Mexicans go in S tier.
Mexicans go in S tier. Is this your race tier list? What are we talking about again?
Yeah, absolutely. Asians are way better. So are the fucking Mexicans, and then also Americans for some reason.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. And should you do your
You've
outro?
never had good schnitzel? German?
What is schnitzel?
Isn't that like the breaded chicken shit or whatever?
Oh yeah, I don't like that shit.
What?
Yeah. And a lot of German foods involve like weird looking sausages and like poorly prepared vegetables. Like, nah, I'll pass.
Jesus.
I've never heard so many bad food takes on one Destiny stream. We got both you guys working together. Holy shit.
Go post more nudes on fucking...
I will. You know what? The only good take you had though is that Brazilian barbecue is fucking amazing.
Thank you.
And a
Well,
caipirinha
no,
with
that
it.
was the
That's
only
not
bad
a steak.
take.
That's
That
not
was
a
the
steak.
only bad take I had actually. Fogo de Chao is really amazing. Brazilian barbecue is just like a style of food.
You know,
Dude,
I like to
good
pretend that
schnitzel?
that's
Oh my god,
that's
just
the
looking
good
at
shit.
it. Oh fuck.
That's a very
That looks
popular.
disgusting.
Oh,
That's a very popular Jewish food right there.
how can you not like schnitzel?
How can you not like schnitzel?
Bro, it just sounds like-
Schnitzel, let me tell you, my grandmother makes the best schnitzel. She's dead now, but still, it was the best.
All right, you gonna order this Uber?
Are you
No,
driving?
I'm driving.
Hold on to your fucking.
Yeah, let's go,
All
baby.
right, let's roll out this bitch.
All right, bye guys.
Peace, Blacken. Laugh.
All right, listen, guys, it's been fun. I know this has been boring. Tomorrow we'll be back with some Factorio. I know you guys wanted to see me progress a factor today, and we didn't make it too far. We've almost got that orange science done. Tomorrow, definitely have it finished. So,
I need into that Discord group right now.
why? There's
So I
only
can-
9 people.
Huh?
You wouldn't understand it.
I would understand. I saw fucking TC Brady in there, okay? Whatever fucking memes that idiot gets to see, I get to see before him. Okay? That guy is a fucking scouser. Do you know what that is?
Sounds racist. I don't know. What is
A
it?
little bit, I think.
Let me see here.
Who's streaming on YouTube right now?
Low tier god's got to be on here.
All these videos I haven't watched yet. Fuck.
Do you want us to try and, me and Abba, to try and see how many we can get on this fucking rhythm thing? Maybe we're.
I've already sucked, so but you can try. Hold
I
on.
got 860.
Did
My
you?
first try.
Well, your guy's not even streaming.
And
guys.
he got 868 when he wasn't cheating.
There, go. Damn.
Okay, where's the keyboard?
Right here. I can't. Don't pull it forward because the cable coming down.
Okay, so, oh god, this is embarrassing. I don't want to. Okay.
Okay.
Fuck.
What do you got?
Too bad.
835?
Oh, no.
And you've been trying this how long? Bruh. I tried
It was a
once.
bad angle. It was a bad
860.
angle. Doesn't
and
count.
And Destiny got 865 and then 855.
You gotta do the. You gotta keep. You gotta keep.
He's
It has to
cheating.
be louder.
He's
It
doing
has
a
to be
double tap.
louder.
Stop cheating, bruh. Don't cheat. Cause look, he's gonna cheat. Look at his other arm. Look at his other arm. You see his other arm? The way he's doing that?
That is cheating.
That is cheating. You see the way he's cheating?
You're.
Yeah, 869. See when you're not cheating, what happens? See what happens when you're not cheating?
Okay. Let's go. Ready?
Here you go with the cheating.
Why?
Stop cheating. Let him do his thing, bro. Wow! 757!
Oh my god! Are you even trying?
Yes, I'm cheating, bro. Under duress.
He has like a fucking little thing
Destiny
there.
says he can handle Mr. Gorill's pressure, but he can't even handle some people talking to his ear.
757.
I got allegations for you, brother.
How are you gonna play in a live studio audience?
Stop sexting.
Unbelievable. Not even a 900.
I just let me do one of these. Go to the door.
Okay, all right. I'll stop.
Not my tempo. Are you rushing or are you dragging? All right. Well, is this how you're gonna be playing with a studio there, waiting for your cue, with your head down, not looking?
Oh my god. No, I'll be playing with a click track on my
Good
fucking ear.
Lord,
Okay?
what is this?
Jesus, you guys are fucking my shit up.
No, we're showing you what it means to do things under duress and pressure. Okay.
That left hand thing is cheating though. Whatever that is. He's keeping half time so he can go with the other one. I wasn't doing that.
Okay, so this one's pretty good. This one's pretty
Dude,
good.
fuck.
No, that was
No.
my score.
That's pretty
You
good.
were really trying. And that's
Were
the
you
best did.
dragging or were you rushing?
Not good.
Were you dragging or are you rushing?
I hate you.
Oh, here we go. Little baby Vang about to cry.
Little baby.
Maybe we've broken him.
Remember when he said
This
that
is
in
it.
the movie? I thought it was hilarious. All right there.
And now we have to fucking stay here.
Go ahead there, Steven. Are you rushing or are you dragging? So do it on my tempo! My tempo!
Hey, okay, last
Well.
one, I guess. We're gonna be like as you guys.
How are you gonna be able to do this? Imagine there's music playing. Dun 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 dun.
Congratulations, Steven. You finally got it. You finally got it. My tempo.
You're fired.
Okay, last one.
Okay, last one.
All right, now we're not gonna do anything, and watch, he's still gonna fuck it up.
late. Melon, your wife's waiting. Don't make her wait so you can stroke your ego. All right, husband, if you really care, you'll get it right this time.
Okay, that's good.
See? That's how you know he loves her. Let's be
Got here just a tweet. One of the many you've been very active.
Oh,
of course,
no.
On social media.
Not the Twitter ambush.
What?
Hamas is talking about eliminating Israel. It's talking about not killing all of the Jews. It's about eliminating the idea.
Hamas is telling you exactly what it wants. But I'm going to say, no, that's not actually what they mean. Hamas wants to destroy the idea of whatever. Hamas is like, no, we literally we want to kill them. Why do they not see this? How do you think Israel should be doing a better job of fighting this information war, given the battlefield as you see it?
It's easy, obviously, and I'm sure you know this as well. It's easy from the sidelines to sit and criticize, especially because
So easy.
yeah, of course.
So easy.
The critic is not the man in the arena or whatever. So I am sympathetic to leadership, but I feel like every single part of the Israeli apparatus, government, military, financial, whatever, has to go towards solving the Palestinian problem. There has to be like a permanent end to that conflict.
From your mouth to Allah's ears, but you have any idea how we do that?
I mean, people have talked about the Emirati plan. I just spoke with Yossi Beilin, who talks about he wants to do like a confederation of two states. You've got two staters. You've got whatever.
Do you have your favorite magic solution?
Do I have my favorite magic solution? Honestly, all of them rank above the status quo. Whether it's the Emirati plan, whether it's a one state, one vote, whether it's a two-state solution with the 67 borders that resembles the
Clinton. Obviously, if we were
parameters.
able to solve this conflict, make it go away, that would be the best thing that could be done for Israel's image. But given the fact that the war is continuing, and the conflict continues because the Palestinians are still committed to a forever war, that they don't accept the legitimacy of the state of Israel, and have repeatedly on past occasions thrown out any peace deal when it meant coming to terms with the fact that Israel as a Jewish state had a right to exist. How does Israel make the case better to the world, specifically to young and liberal audiences? Because we're seeing this massive gulf where, 80% of Americans support Israel versus Hamas. When you get to the young generation, like it's 55-45. That's a really dangerous split.
You were playing video games?
No.
Okay, well, I grew up...
Not since I was 10 and I had Harry Potter on the PlayStation.
So my background when I got into streaming was I was a professional StarCraft player. So StarCraft is a real-time strategy game. So you're playing, you're building dudes, you're mining resources, you're making armies, and you're fighting to kill the other dude's army. One of the things that you learn when you reach higher levels in probably any real-time strategy game is you get into a scenario where you have to make a decision, and you've got like a good choice and you've got a bad choice. But what you learn when you get to really high levels of play is there's a worst choice, and the worst choice is always indecision. That sometimes making a bad choice and then moving from there is better, because people, I think people fall into this trap of thinking that there's a timer on the screen, whether you're talking Israel-Palestine or you're talking a game of StarCraft 2, there's a timer on the screen where we can sit and wait and think, and it's like, I'm not sure what the right decision is, but let's wait. This is true in the world of business as well, that sometimes you just have to make a decision and go, and if you just sit and wait, the world will pass you by, and
There's
all of the bad...
There's a philosophical metaphor that describes it in terms of a donkey that's facing two identical bales of hay.
Oh, and you starved.
And it can't decide, do I go for this, do I go for this? And in the end, it ends up starving because of the same dynamic you're describing.
So whatever the solution looks like for Israel-Palestine, and whatever it looks like in the future, the delusion that has fallen over Israel is that the can be kicked down the road, that other states can be brought in for peace, that the Abraham Accords can be signed, that an embassy can be moved around, that more territory can be annexed.
I mean, we do now have free and normalized relations with the UAE, with Bahrain and Morocco, and that's a fantastic step for the Middle East, regardless of its impact on the Palestinian conflict.
Has it made Israelis feel any safer?
Absolutely. It's made Israelis feel much more plugged into a region where before they felt that they were a fortress island nation, and now they feel, hey, we're able to go and walk freely around Arab countries. By the way, many of them feel safer walking around Dubai speaking Hebrew than they would walking around London or Paris.
But how much safer do they feel in 2020 than they did in 2018 after the Abraham Accords for Saudi Arabia or for what, Sudan or the UAE, or I don't even remember the 3 countries involved? Or for, at the end of the day, are they thinking like, oh my goodness, like
that history was moving in the right direction, and the awful, completely unjustified international boycott of Israel was beginning to end because people in the region can actually talk sense and realize that it makes sense for Israel to be part of the region. But I'm trying to understand. Look, what I'm
trying to think of is in my survey of Israeli history, and I could be wrong, I don't remember any of the major wars starting because of a disagreement with Sudan, or disagreement with the UAE, or disagreement with Saudi Arabia.
In the 67 war. No, but
it took part in the same way Cuba sent troops, I think, for the 67 war.
That's why the Abraham Accords were so important, because it was a moment when Israel was looking at these countries saying, for years, we have no direct conflict with you, have no border dispute, we have absolutely no reason to be enemies. Let's just be friends, because we've always wanted that. We've never had any bones to pick with the Emirates, and the Emirates said, sure, okay, and that normalization is a great thing. But specifically on the Palestinian conflict, yes, okay, it would be nice if we could solve the conflict. And there are many reasons.
That would be nice. It is essential. It is the number one security risk to Israel.
Traumatized that in the past they've made risks for peace, whether it was the withdrawal from Gaza, the withdrawal from Lebanon, withdrawal from I don't want to get into the dynamics. They've blown up in their faces. I'm asking you, in the absence of being able to solve this, and I wish we could solve it, but given that the conflict is going to endure because the Palestinians refuse to accept any Jewish state in any borders whatsoever, how do we appeal better to the world? How do we defeat this Hamas strategy of gaming international public opinion and wearing them down to this numbness to the truth by lie after lie after lie until they're willing to believe anything?
I mean, from the Israeli side, I think Begin and earlier, I think even Ben-Gurion said that the scariest thing that Israel could face in its early days was a staunch advocate for peace on the Arab side. That somebody like Sadat showing up and making overtures towards peace would be unstoppable from the Israeli side. You can't fight against an opponent that is offering something like that because you would look insane. And I think...
Which leader was that? I don't remember that quote.
I don't remember if it was Ben-Gurion or if I don't remember if it was the prime minister after him, between that and the 73 war. Okay. But the idea that a strong Arab leader that was a staunch advocate for peace would be somebody that you couldn't deny that in overture. And when Sadat finally came in and did that, when he made a speech in front of the Knesset, and that was an unstoppable thing. I feel like if Israel was empowering the Palestinians in an undeniable way that it could show the world, I feel like that moves you in a direction to where eventually Palestinians would have to feel some kind of pressure, because it feels like the history from the Arab-Israeli side has always been the Arabs always gave Israel like the perfect excuse for expansion in '67, the perfect excuse for whatever early territorial conquest, expanding the borders in '48 from what the '47 partition would have looked like. Now it feels like on the opposite ends of things, it feels like Palestinians always have an excuse, whether it's another raid in the West Bank, whether it's another soldier that doesn't get convicted for a crime, whether it's another NGO or human rights or whatever UN group saying something about another war in Gaza. It feels like Israel's always giving those excuses to the Palestinians to continue to fight. And it's not just them. I'm speaking to you as an Israeli spokesperson, so I'm coming down I'm coming down very hard on Israel. There are definitely problems in the international community, in the Arab world, on the Palestinian side that I talk about a lot as well. But I'm just saying for the agency of the Israeli side, there has to be a come to Jesus moment, or a come to, I don't know who you would say, but for me, a Christian, come to Moses moment, okay, Abraham, whatever, yeah, right, where the PA is empowered.
Jewish, we'll take it.
Yeah, the PA was I'm just kidding. The PA was empowered with enough money to go into the Gaza Strip with a boss there. This is a man who he wears a suit and tie, he talks to Israeli leaders, he shaves his beard. This is a guy who should be your strongest advocate, that you are empowering in every single way possible to be the face of the PA.
Despite the fact that his administration continues to pay salaries to terrorists sitting in jail and stipends to the families of terrorists.
Listen, Begin signed peace with Egypt, and he was part of the Lehi. I mean, everybody has had issues. It has to be put. It can't be intractable. It can't be the same excuse. You don't think the Lehi at the beginning was?
Bottom line, what I'm trying to understand here.
Go ahead.
Bottom line, you're saying, short of being able to solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, Israel is basically screwed when it comes to the information war and this dynamic. The world will buy all the little lies that the Palestinians tell.
I think so.
You say within this space, okay, the far right, the far left are all ganging up on Israel. And one of the words that I noticed you've taken particular issue with, it really sets off your rage and you attack, is when people use the term genocidal to attack Israel. And we've got here just a tweet, one of the many you've been very active on social media.
Not the Twitter ambush.
No offense, someone is writing to you, but I don't think there's any innocent Israeli citizen, and I'm tired of tiptoeing around that subject and pretending like there's some kind of mythical exception to whom I owe some reverence or obeisance.
Yeah.
So you quote tweeted this, saying what?
The issue is that people speak in circles sometimes around concepts relating to genocide or what they want the final state of Israel and Palestine to look like. And what they'll do is they put all the tools down for what I would say is an inevitable genocide, but they won't actually own the conclusion. So they'll say something along the lines of like, I think that oppressed people have a right to fight against their oppressors. I think that every single Israeli citizen is a colonialist or a settler. Like when people say settler in the West, they're not always, or well, in Palestine even sometimes, they're not just talking about settlers living in the West Bank. They're talking about every single Israeli citizen. And they'll say all of these words, and then like when October 7th happens, they'll say, well, this is the language of the oppressed. These people are fighting against, these people are fighting against their oppressors. And then they'll say, well, but a one-state solution should happen, and everybody should have one voice and one vote. And it's like, okay, but when you've said all these other things and you've laid out all these tools, if they were to start some sort of oppressive movement, if it was pogroms, if it was genocidal actions, you would defend it. So you've given them all the tools to do the genocide, and you've justified it. And then if it were to happen, you're not going to intervene. You didn't in Syria, you didn't in Yemen, you didn't in Sudan, in any other place. So why would Israel expect you to intervene here? That's typically my issue with that line of.
Interesting. No, that's a fascinating point because you have people saying, Israel, the Israelis are evil and they murder babies and they're colonialists and they have no right to be there. Okay, well, what is the solution? Okay, well, we think there should be a one-state solution and put them at the mercy of whatever Islamic Caliphate regime the Palestinians decide to set up. And then, okay, well, are the Jews going to be safe in that? And then they go, well, not my problem. We're like, well, it is our problem, and that's why we support Zionism, because we need Jews to be able to defend
I think it's even a
themselves.
little bit worse than the not my problem, because when you push people on these types of things, it usually starts with, it'll basically be like, Hamas didn't do this, show me proof, you show them proof, oh, well, that was faked by the IDF, and then you show it, well, it wasn't. It's like, okay, well, they deserved it anyway. And it's always that last one, it's like, well, they've been fighting against their oppressors since 48, and well, why is it that in 2024, 2025, why can't they continue to fight against their oppressors, but now democratically or through, pogroms or whatever else? I think the justifications are very scary and bad there, and
And it's really baffling that you have this level of cognitive dissonance on the far left as well. I mean, we're familiar with it on the far right, and you've been very critical as well of the way that, among certain elements of the far right, facts are denied, right, if it doesn't meet their particular narrative. But you're seeing this on the far left as well, where they're confronted with evidence of how evil Hamas is. That Hamas would gladly come for them and murder them if it got their hands on it. And that point just doesn't sink in, and they can't accept it. I mean, we have here a clip from Brianna Joy Gray, from a former aide on the Bernie Sanders campaign, who's really become one of the most vicious voices against Israel.
And Hamas is talking about eliminating Israel. It's talking about not killing all of the Jews. It's about eliminating the idea. It's about...
Leave it there. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there.
It's about, let me just finish, sir. Can I just finish the sentence? It's about eliminating the idea of a Jewish state, ending a Jewish state, ending an ethno-national state, and having a state more like what we have in the United States of America.
If I can just respond.
He can only burst into laughter because it's really the most extreme form of West-splaining to say, Hamas is telling you exactly what it wants, but I'm going to say, no, that's not actually what they mean. Hamas wants to destroy the idea of whatever. Hamas is like, no, we literally we want to kill them. But you're saying, but look, you're giving them the tools, you're giving them the justification, so that if they ever got their hands on the rest of the Jews, they would be able to kill them because of the ideological infrastructure that you've given them. Like, why do they not see this?
That's a very deep question. There's a lot of, we could speak at length for any number of these things, but it's like I said in the opening of this, Israel-Palestine is just the perfect confluence of so many different things that gives people interest for dumb reasons. Like I said, you've got Brianna just tweeted, this might have been around October, where somebody made a comment about dark-skinned people in the Middle East being discriminated against. It was something like that, and the way that she quote tweeted that and made a joke, she made it sound like she thought that the majority of Jews in Israel were light-skinned European Jews. That was her impression.
Right.
So this is just like the perfect ground for all the narratives that people love to fight over, the colonizers, the oppressed, the oppressors, like all of that. And you can fight with these stories without ever actually engaging with any of the facts. So I think that's where a lot of the opinions come from. Because once you get into like the actual facts, it becomes hard to defend a lot of any of the opinions that are given. Yeah.
Of course, but when you find yourself arguing in these spaces, do you find you're able to shift the needle at all, or people on both extremes are simply impervious to the facts and nothing is going to shift them?
It's I think I've shifted the needle I think with my fan base, with other people that I argue with. I think that there are a certain amount of people that can be beaten over the head with facts, But I think at the end of the day, it's important to remember that people are driven by stories and narratives. These are the things that empower people to run for office, to go to a protest, to whatever. You know, like nobody reads a stat where they're like, oh my God, like 32% of blah, blah, blah are oppressed by the police. Like, I'm gonna go protest. It's usually like a friend of mine had a bad experience with a cop, or I watched, you know, that officer Chauvin sit on George Floyd's neck for 9+ minutes. Like, these are the things that drive people. So, you know, Israel can publish a statement saying like, oh, well, we found 4 documents from Hamas and they engaged in this level of horrible activity and 1,000 collaborators were killed in the second intifada, blah, blah, blah.
None of our spokespeople speak with that squeaky voice.
No, I understand, sure. I'm hyperbolizing a bit, but Hamas has the babies that they're shaking, the beheaded baby or the exploded babies and everything that they're shaking in the camps, and they've got the video footage of people getting blown up and killed and hungry, and that fighting against that, you can't fight against that with speeches on TV screens from generals or from spokespeople. Just people's brains will instantly see the Palestinian side to be more sympathetic.
And that means that Israel is really fighting with its hands behind its back. First of all, because we're glad that there isn't as much suffering on our side as there is on the other side. We're trying to minimize that suffering, but we're definitely not going to create more suffering. We're trying to minimize on our own side as much defense as possible. And that means we have fewer horrific images, although October 7th has given us a lifetime supply of horrific images that, you know, are going to scar us for life. But it's just impossible to fight against the images and help people understand why this is happening, that Hamas declared war. Hamas is deciding to fight this war from inside an urban terrain, and Hamas designed the battlefield in order to raise the cost on their own side and present Israel with 2 unpalatable choices. Fight Hamas, the costs being what they are, or don't, and accept defeat and accept that a terrorist organization can invade your territory, rape your women, abduct your babies, and it's game over.
I mean, I agree on a factual level. It's just finding the... I mean, I do debate in conversation, so for me, I'm just thinking of the rhetorical points. But like when you're, like in my opinion, I'm only saying this as a guy that debates. I'm sure there are different concerns that a state has, but like every single conversation where anybody speaking from an Israeli point of view that's talking about aid getting into Gaza, that's talking about humanitarian or safe zones being set up, the first question that always needs to come out of an Israeli's mouth is, why doesn't Hamas help to set any of these areas up? Why is Hamas bombing the crossings? Why do they shoot rockets at the pier? Like, that has to be the very first question, because the fact that,
mad that Israel is continuing to provide aid into the Gaza Strip. It's going up month by month by month. Even as Hamas continues shooting rockets at the crossings.
There's still rockets that are coming out of Rafah.
Israel lost 4 soldiers because of persistent rocket attacks on the Kerem Shalom crossing, and Israel's the only country that is expected to operate aid crossings into enemy-controlled territory as those crossings are coming under attack. And it's our people who have to operate them, not, you know,
and then
nice
there's even more,
sweets.
yeah, and there's even like liability for doing so, right? Like Israel is simultaneously not helping any of the aid getting in, but then they're also sending our people with.
It is.
It's the allegation. Yeah, the allegation is not helping, but then there's also like Israeli soldiers that are going with. They call it the Flower Massacre, right? The road going north into Gaza, right? But there were people. Obviously there was IDF trying to help aid get to some areas. So you're somehow catching all the negatives of like everything, of not helping aid get in, or weaponizing aid, or you know, like blowing up cities, but also not going after any of the terrorists, or wanting to fund Hamas and keep them there while also trying to, like, Israel just seems to somehow catch the negative part of every single story. That things that should be contradictory. It's like in the United States, when people will talk about immigrants that are too lazy to do anything and just collect welfare, but they're also stealing all the jobs at the same time. It's like, how are both of these things true at once? And that seems to be the story of every single part of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, where you guys managed to collect.
Dissonance.
Yeah, I joked the other day that, like, when it comes to creating propaganda, like when the initial October 7th attacks happened, like it's sad to say, and it's tragic to say, but like one of the worst things that happened were the Zaka volunteers that were trying to find bodies and bury them immediately. And you didn't get that really tragic, horrible footage. You did from some people that managed to take footage, but the most effective piece of Israeli propaganda that was made for this war came from Hamas, and it was them capturing the video footage of the girl going into the town on the back of the truck. That was, and that was their video. They're so much better at it that they even unintentionally make better propaganda for you guys.
There has never been a terrorist attack or a massacre that has been so extensively documented by the people who perpetrated it, and they provided us the images from their GoPros as well.
There was this old Ethan Klein video, and he talked about, it was a story about how he was very poor at the time, living with Hila in LA, and he remembered how he had to put like a bell pepper back because he was so broke. Like, he couldn't afford a bell pepper, and he was very upset by that. Hila, they weren't really making money. I think she was trying to do art stuff, but they had to work jobs regardless of that. And they were having conversation about, like, is this YouTube stuff worth pursuing at this point? Like, is it really worth it? And they were in a much worse position than me, because I was, like, you know, relatively wealthy kid, everything paid for by my parents. They made the case that basically, like, well, if we never try, it will never happen.
Oh God, there was this sounds so mean. You and Sneeko
are very similar. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to episode 7 of Bridges. Today I'm joined by our wonderful guest, Turkey Tom.
Hello. How's
What's
it
up?
going?
It's going great. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little sleepy.
A little sleepy?
A little bit.
You look like it. But you
Thank
always
you.
look like you're a little sleepy.
I
so.
appreciate that. Yeah. You're a nice guy.
Thanks.
No problem. Why
What
do
do
you
you
look
wanna-
like that?
Look like what?
You just look like you look like you just ate a whole toilet bowl of shit.
What are you talking
Like
about?
your face is, your smile is just so
I'm just
fucking.
like, I'm trying to be
It's so
personable.
fucking disingenuous.
It's not disingenuous.
You look like such
I'm
a
excited that you're here
scumfuck.
on my show, and I'm
You
trying to
look
have
like
like
you
a.
just ate like 3 people's shit.
Okay, and you look like you rubbed some in your hair before you came into my show.
Based,
so
I did.
Yeah.
I'm poop maxing.
Yeah, clearly.
I'm also diaper maxing. That's from chat.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, like when you walked in earlier with that turban on your head and you were like diaper. That was hilarious. That was like so random. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I need
Anyway.
to change.
Did you bring stuff to talk about today? Because I didn't do any notes for this episode. So
Did you actually do no notes?
no, I have Factorio here, and every time my factory backs up.
I do have stuff we can talk about, but that's not real. You would definitely have notes.
Oh, you think so?
This is your fucking podcast.
You don't know that.
What do you mean I don't know that?
You don't know anything. Jon
True.
Snow. Okay. Tom, you're an enigma.
I'm an enigma?
Yeah.
How am I an enigma?
You're young. You're successful.
I am.
How did you get your start YouTubing?
Oh my god.
Who did you watch growing up? Who was like the person that you watched? Were you a secret Keemstar fan? I know you got a little bit of a.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you want the real answer? You want to really go deep on
Yeah,
this?
I want the real answer
You want the real
on this.
answer?
Okay? I've been watching Dr. K videos all week. Just prepare for this one. Yeah.
So, I was born in 2002. So I think when I was 8 is when I really found out YouTube was like a thing. And that was like 2010. And around that time, like the biggest shit on YouTube was like fucking Annoying Orange and like Fred. Yeah.
You got a
And
movie.
He did. He had 3 movies.
Okay, I
He
didn't
had
know that.
3 movies.
My bad. You were probably at the front
There's-
row seat for all of them, huh?
I was. They're on Nickelodeon. There's Fred. There's Fred 2, Night of the Living Fred. And then there's, I don't know what the third one is called. It might just be Fred 3. Or there might be a Fred 4. There's a lot of Freds. John Cena's in them. He plays his dad.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They were all direct to Nickelodeon. They didn't get to the theaters.
I don't know.
Oh.
But I remember watching them on Nickelodeon and liking them.
Okay.
They're fire.
That's cool.
Anyway, so yeah, there was that. There was Annoying Orange. There was like Tobuscus and stuff like that. And I liked that stuff because I was like fucking 8 years old. But it wasn't really like super captivating to me. I didn't really care. And then, you know, as time passed, the Let's Players blew up, like PewDiePie and Markiplier and stuff like that. Those guys got big, and the stuff that they were doing was a little more personality driven. And they also like, you probably remember this better than me. There used to be a lot of viral videos, and that would be the only thing you heard of from that person. And there wasn't really like a creator phenomenon yet.
Like literally one-hit wonders, basically. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
But that was
They were like old videos on Ebon. Like I remember there was a guy called like Starter Up Steve who did like the 55 song. You've probably never heard of that. There's a guy that did the illustrating for like the end of the world.
Yeah.
And it's like Enzenzi missiles. Do you have any idea what Okay. Anyway, yeah,
Vaguely.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
But then like I feel like post 2010, there started to be this era where like you had like SXE Phil and you had like Shane Dawson and you had people who were like making consistent careers out of it. Like they had a job, and it was like about putting out consistent content. It wasn't about like what's going to go viral. It was about like what's going to maintain this for longer. And the idea of like being a YouTuber became a thing. And so
Can I ask? I'm curious. First of all, growing up, this is just generational questions. Firstly, do you watch TV at all, or did you ever watch TV? Or it was all just like internet stuff.
I watched a bunch of TV, yeah.
Okay.
On Cartoon Network.
And then I always hear this thing about, you know, depending on the generation, people want to grow up and be YouTubers. My son says it a lot, but obviously I'm a YouTuber. You didn't have, I guess, any YouTubers in your family. Was this like actually a thing? Like how old were you when you were like, I want to make YouTube videos and maybe do this as a job? Was this something you felt like in grade school or like in high school, or?
Honestly, it was never a thing I thought would realistically be a job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think that makes sense. I think that's a good expectation to have. I started really posting a lot when I was 14. And then I didn't really expect it to be a job until I was in college, and I was like, this sucks. So I'm just going to try to make it a job. So I did, but I didn't have any expectation. I thought it would always be like in my videos publicly, I would say like, this will never be my job. This will always be like a side passion. I'm going to like go to college and get a job, because that's what everybody around me was doing. So I didn't have any expectation that it would be a job. I just liked doing it. I liked it.
Can I ask, what was the very first dollar you ever got for content? Was it like a PayPal dono link? Was it AdSense? What was it?
AdSense, yeah. There was a long time on YouTube when I didn't care enough to. I liked using copyrighted music. I think that using a copyrighted song, there's good uncopyrighted music, but using sometimes one song to me is like you just got to use it. And so I just didn't give a shit. All the videos got claimed. I had like 100,000 subscribers, and I think I don't know if I had even made any money. I remember there was this one paycheck I got in like 2018 that I think was like $1,500 for December. And I was like impressed by that. My parents were like, yeah, that's cool. But it wasn't a thing that was like, this is going to be his job. It was like, you're going to go to school and all that.
And it was $1,500.
Yeah.
Damn.
But I mean, that's not.
The difference is, I remember when I was in my early 20s when we started playing professional games, that if you could get like on a team, like a pro team, and your salary would be like $400 a month, it was like unbelievable. You'd like made it.
I come from like a very like affluent, like white, like not stuck up, but like my parents are like the kind where if you ask my mom, what if she's rich, she'd be like, well, we're upper middle class, we're comfortable. Like literally that's something she says.
As you like decide which pool you want to swim in that day, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely like in the highest tax bracket type stuff. So
just curious, if you didn't really want to do it as a job and your parents were kind of like ambivalent or whatever towards it, they didn't care about you posting videos of yourself online and putting it on the internet?
They didn't like it. My dad was kind of indifferent. He was like, oh, it's kind of cool. My mom was like, fuck this. I remember there was this one moment when I was like 15 years old, and I don't remember, but I had failed a math test or something. And my mom was like, this YouTube thing's getting in the way. And I remember being at the family computer, and she was like looking up how to delete a YouTube channel, and I was like, no! And I like unplugged. I had like 500 subscribers, and I unplugged the fucking thing from the wall. She's like, what are you doing? And I was like, don't do this to me. I was so livid. And it wasn't even like I thought it would be a job. I was just obsessed with it. Like I was so obsessed with it, and I still am. But back then, like the ultimate punishment for me, for my parents, was taking away the computer. And I would always find a way to get it back. I remember there was this one time when I think I was 14 or something, and they got a lock on their the door to their room. And their room like divided like half of the upstairs at that time. It was like their room, and then they had like a big walk-in closet, and then they had like an office. And so they put a lock on it so I couldn't get in. So what I did is I stole all the keys from the lock, every copy of the key, and I rode on my bike out in the middle of the woods, and I threw them as far as I could so they would never be able to fix it, basically. And they didn't, and the lock went off the door, and I kept using the computer. But I remember I would sit. This is something I've never even said. So my room had like it's like a square. You have like a bed, a desk, and another desk. And my mom would like want me to be doing homework or something. And what I would do is I would sit with my computer behind the desk in a spot she couldn't see me, and I would be on my computer all day. It would be on a laptop on the floor on my fucking knees, which I think fucked up my knees, but I would just be sitting there doing that all day. And if I would hear her coming, and I could hear very well at this point.
Dude, I think it's got to be like a young boy thing. Yeah, you can tell instantly when you hear a step. It's like, that's mom. She's upset, and she's coming like at 15 miles an hour. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
So you're on your computer, yeah?
So I'm on my computer, and I would hear her, and the laptop was supposed to be in her room. And so what I would do is I would fold it, I would slide it under the desk, and I would put a book on top of it, and then I would quickly get in position. I already had all my homework laid out. So I would be like, oh, I'm just studying. And then she would leave, and then I would just go right back to it all day. And that's all I gave a shit about. I did pretty well in school. I think I would have done worse if they hadn't really cracked the books on me, because they were very, they really wanted me to do well. So they made me take like AP classes, and I did pretty well in those.
They were never sophisticated enough to like check your YouTube channel or account to see if you were posting or doing anything?
They would check sometimes, but I think they just assumed if things were going well enough at any point in time that I wasn't really doing enough on it, that it wouldn't be a problem. But then eventually, if I like failed a test or something, or like a grade dropped below like 90, they would be like, what the fuck is going on, Tom? And they'd look at it and they'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? You fucking asshole.
Is your name short for Thomas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that was like my experience. But I remember going back to the early YouTube days, the first time I really felt like, I always liked YouTube. I liked watching like Markiplier, the gaming stuff. But the first time that it really felt like a community to me, which really enticed me, was like 2015-16 drama days with like Leafy, iDubbbz, Grade A Under A, I Hate Everything. All of those guys, what they were doing was really interesting to me, because it was like a community of people where they blew up making videos, some of them making fun of people, some of them talking about their opinions. And then there were these like different stories that would come along, and everybody would talk about the story and give their take. And like this guy would respond to this guy, and then they'd get a response here. There would be drama, and like some people's careers would get destroyed, which I think is kind of silly looking back to think that happened. But that was the perception, you know, that if one of these big guys made a video about you, your career might be over or something like that.
2015, 16. This is about when you started posting.
This is when I really started posting. Yeah. Okay. And the videos were really bad. One of the first videos I made, which is on YouTube somewhere, it was a commentary video about a kid that I went to school with. He had like an anime review channel, and I was like, this guy sucks. And then I remember in like the part 1 of the video, I ended it on me drinking like a bleach cocktail with a Tide Pod in it. And then I remember some of the comments, because I had like 10 comments or something, and some of the comments were like, well, he has more subscribers than you, so someone must like him. So what I did to prove scientifically that nobody liked him is I went around the school and I filmed videos of kids being like, this guy sucks. And I had like a 30-person compilation from the school that I put in a YouTube video.
You never got in trouble at school for bullying, or he never showed the video to like a teacher or the principal?
Oh, they did.
Or...
They did. And I think I was like, that's not me. And they were like, okay. And then they called me back in and they were like, upon further inspection, it seems your face is in the videos. And I was like, I don't know, it's someone else or something. And they couldn't do anything about it because it wasn't on school grounds or something. The video wasn't posted on school grounds.
Because you went to like a public school, or?
Yeah, even though it was filmed there, which doesn't really make sense. But the video was up for a little while, and then eventually I deleted it once I was like getting a little better making videos. But
when you were making videos, were you worried that like your parents or like your classmates would see stuff you're posting and think you're a loser, or?
No, I didn't give a shit. They were looking at it, and they did think I was a loser, but I didn't care. I was like, whatever. I don't give a shit.
Did you have like friends?
Yeah, I had a lot of friends. Yeah,
like in school, were there people that you talked to and that you knew and like you were kind of chill with, or were you like, oh, fuck it, I'm like a child of the internet, I'm in this community? Like, did you have a lot of other people you could talk to, like Leafy and all these people about like in class? Or
we didn't really talk about YouTube stuff as much, maybe a little bit, but I had a group of friends that I had from when I was 8 when I moved to that town until I graduated high school. It was the same like 4 or 5 people. And
did any of them see you getting into the YouTube stuff and like want to be a part of it, or?
Yeah, early on there were a few of us doing YouTube actually. Like, I remember freshman year there was my buddy Ian. He had a YouTube channel. My buddy Isaac, and then there was the kid that I basically bullied. And we would like at the time we had our own little community. We would like make response videos to each other. Like we would shit on each other. Okay. And I remember early on I was the guy to shit on. We would go to school and like talk and hang out, and then we'd go home and be like, this guy sucks, on like YouTube, which was funny. Okay. And one of my friends, Isaac, I feel like he was actually way more talented and funny than me. He just didn't keep at it, but I just kept at it. I just kept doing it.
Was the one guy that you bullied, does he still make YouTube videos?
Not that I know of.
You did end a career. That's the first one.
Maybe he does. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting time. I haven't really thought about this stuff in a while, actually. But yeah, I just kept doing it, and I remember I would like set goals for myself. Like I remember at the end of my freshman year, I want to say I had like 300 subscribers or something, and summer break was coming up, and I wasn't old enough to work a job yet, but I was old enough for my mom to make me volunteer at places for free for no pay. So she wanted me to do that, but my real focus was YouTube. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I only have to volunteer 4 days a week. I'm gonna grind the fuck out of this. I remember telling kids in I think it was environmental science I was taking at the time, I was like, I'm gonna have 1,000 subscribers by the end of the summer. And they're like, you should be more realistic with your goals. And I was like, fuck you. And then at the end of the summer, I had 1,000, and I came back to school.
Damn.
Yes, he was wrong. And they were like, we don't really care. But yeah, basically, I was just very obsessed with it. I was really, really obsessed with doing that. And the idea of this like community existing was really interesting to me. And then at some point when I was like 15 years old, I think I had 5,000 subscribers. I had previously been shouted out by a channel you probably know of named Quentin Reviews.
I feel like he's in my YouTube chat.
Is he?
What is he? What kind of content does he do?
He makes like media analysis. He makes like 8-hour videos about iCarly. I feel like he wouldn't like you because he's like a breadtube kind of guy, or he was for a while.
What do you mean by that? I'm a breadtube kind of guy.
Yeah.
Shut up.
He's like a big ContraPoints fan. But at the time he was like more of a commentary channel, and he shouted me out when he had like, I don't know, 25,000 subs, I think. And so I think I got like 1,000 subscribers from that or something.
Okay.
And then at some point there was this guy named Kavos, and Kavos was like a big commentary channel at the time. He was killing it, and he was making a lot of videos about Jake Paul. And I like made some tweet, and I was like, why is every video about Jake Paul? Which is like a dumb criticism, doesn't really matter. But Keemstar saw that, and he was a big Kavos fan at the time. And he was like, he made this video where he said, a lot of shit. But one of the things he said was, "Why is your name Turkey Tom if you're not even a fucking turkey?" And that meme stuck for a while, but it got some attention at that time. And so while I didn't get like a big sub boost from it, a lot of creators on Twitter who saw that, they were like, "Oh, Keemstar's going after this kid. Let's like subscribe to him or something." It was kind of like a pity thing, honestly. But I met a lot of YouTubers like Willie Mac Show at that time, who I'm still friends with to this day. And that was, I was younger than all of them at the time. I think I was 15 and they were like 20. But they like gave me YouTube advice and what?
I'm so sorry. Keep going.
They gave me a lot of YouTube advice and we just talked about content stuff, and I just kept doing it. And then
wait, backing up, this is when you're a sophomore in high school?
Yeah, like early sophomore year.
When you're starting to post, are you approaching this like strategically? Like, are you trying to map out, like, if I drop a video at like 9 a.m., I can maximize for Europe? Or are you thinking like, this is what's hot right now, I see it on the algorithm, you're checking your like time watched? Or are you just like pumping out videos because you're like, oh, this is fun and I like it and hopefully I grow?
No, I definitely had like in mind, like I need to do things to grow. So one of the things I would do is at the end of every school year, because I didn't have as much time during school, I was like, I need to get ready videos for the summer because I want to post more. So I would get like 4 videos ready. So I had like June laid out when school ended. And then because I would have that backlog, I'd have time to get videos for the next month ready. And I would just keep rolling that. And then the idea behind that was like, by the time the school year runs around, I probably will have a month of videos before things get inconsistent again.
Okay.
So the summer was like the big growth period. There was, after sophomore year, I think I had 13,000 subscribers.
Damn.
And then there was this there was this like wave of channels, like the Storytime animation guys, and I don't even remember what I criticized them for looking back. I think it was just dumb shit, but I made a video about it. They got 1 million views that summer. And I went from 13,000 subs to 50,000 subs.
And this was in 16?
18.
2018. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so yeah, 2018 I think. And so from there I was like, okay, well now I have like a decently sizable audience. Now I've gotten from, I'm still a small YouTuber relatively speaking, but I have an audience watching me, and I just kept going from there. I think when high school ended, I think I had 100,000 subscribers ish, maybe 120. And then I went to college, and freshman year was like tolerable, but I didn't really like it.
Sure. Before college, okay, so here's a question I've got. I think that when people are doing small businesses, when people are trying to make it in the world, people will start with things that they love. They have a really hard time, I don't want to say monetizing it, but like working it into something that other people can consume, right? So I'm sure that for every person like you, there are like 10,000 people who are like, I really like this video. You mentioned, Isaac or Ian, one of your friends, we were like, I think he was probably more talented than me. And I'm sure I've met people like that who are like, this guy could put me out of business.
He was just way funnier than me.
Yeah. But why do you think that in your approach to things, it wasn't just you like making videos to see what would happen? Like you strategically kind of approached it and you were willing to kind of like do that extra work to take like the fun, passionate thing of like making videos, but also kind of work it in like a business. Was it all just fun to you, or did anybody ever, I'm curious, like to start that process, what was it that got you thinking of it more like a business, or like more like I need to strategically approach this and more, rather than like, oh, I'm going to be a YouTuber and whatever?
It was a business to me, but it was the business of like views and subscribers. I didn't really care about the money. I didn't really need money.
Yeah. When I say business, I don't necessarily mean like focusing on the money. I just mean, but you're like strategically like focusing on growth and stuff. You're not just like randomly posting whenever. Like the fact that you're thinking ahead for summer, I need like a string of videos and I'm trying to hit these goals or whatever.
Well, I knew that the consistency was really important, and I could see that because I could see that the YouTubers that did well were the guys who were posting, you know, fucking every day. And I wasn't able to post every day. I was trying to post like twice a week at one point, I think, back then. But it was, I knew that like to build an audience, you need to be in the limelight. You need to give people a reason to pay attention to you right now, especially when you're a smaller channel. Once you've got a little bit of an audience, then you can maybe work on a passion project that takes longer, but because the audience is waiting for it, they'll probably give it views or whatever. Like, I mean, like look at H-Bomber guy, right? That guy barely fucking posts. He posted one video in the past few months and it got 20 million views or something like that.
Killer video.
Was it?
Or wait.
It did very well.
Oh.
Performed well.
Didn't that guy kill himself?
Oh, I get it. Allegedly. I don't think he really did.
Oh shit, never mind.
But
when you're approaching and you're making the videos and you're strategizing, you're doing these particular things, right? In the path to doing that, did you ever feel discouraged by like online stuff, or did you ever post a video and like feel like shit because it didn't do as well, or were you always like, I'm gonna make it, I know I'm gonna make it, there's like not even a doubt in my mind?
There were definitely doubts, but I guess my mindset behind it was just like, there was this old Ethan Klein video where he talked with his audience. It was a very candid video, and he talked about it was a story about how he was very poor at the time, living with Hila in LA, and he remembered how he had to put like a bell pepper back.
It was a beautiful red bell pepper. And Hila wanted this red bell pepper for his salad.
For a salad.
Yeah, for his salad. I was looking at the things in our cart, and I'm like adding it up in my mind. I'm counting up everything in our cart. I'm like at 19. We have $20. I'm like, I weigh the bell pepper. I take the bell pepper, I weigh it. Looking at the scale, I'm like, this puts us over. We can't buy this bell pepper.
Yeah.
This puts us over.
Yeah, and I think we both just really remembered the moment of like putting it back.
Because he was so broke, like, he couldn't afford a bell pepper, and he was very upset by that. And he was talking, you know, Hila, they weren't really making money. I think she was trying to do art stuff, but they had to work jobs regardless of that. And they were having conversation about like, is this YouTube stuff worth pursuing at this point? Like, is it really worth it? And they were in a much worse position than me because I was like, you know, relatively wealthy kid, everything paid for by my parents. And they made the case that basically like, well, if we never try, it will never happen. If we don't try, it definitely won't happen. If we try, at least there's a chance. And maybe, you know, if it doesn't work out, we can look back someday and be like, well, at least I tried, right? So that was kind of the mentality I had, that like, you know, I would definitely I remember after I got like the 1 million view video, the next video I posted got like 500,000 views, which was good because it was related to the main video. And the next video I posted got like 80,000, which, you know, it was way better than I was doing before, because previously I was averaging like 10,000 views, but it was still like, well, what the fuck? Like I had 1 million, now it's 80,000. But I had the mentality basically that, well, I have the audience now. I'm in a better position than I was before. I have more of a chance now of getting another video with 1 million views. And, you know, if I quit, if I have this like perfectionist mindset, this is the thing a lot of artists have. They're like, you know, artists, whatever. They're perfectionists. And there's this quote that says, I'm stealing this from someone. The perfect is the enemy of the good.
Yeah.
It's basically just to say that if you never try to put out anything, you're constantly focused on perfectionism. Maybe once in a while you put out something perfect, but you'll never build a consistent thing out of it. You'll never actually make a living from it because you're always focused on making the most vital, perfect thing. And ultimately, it's hard to get attention from that. It's hard to make people care, right? Especially early on. You need to give people a reason to like care about you consistently for any amount of time before you can set the expectation that, okay, now I can make these perfect projects, right?
Sure. Okay, I'm not trying to circle jerk you too much, but 14 to 18, young man's life, really challenging. There's a lot of stuff going on. You're 21, so you're still in a challenging phase of life. You're growing. There's girls or boys in your case. I'm just kidding. There's girls. You're trying to do school. You've got parents. You've got college, and all of this. And I'm sure that it must feel like you're in a pinball machine with all your other friends who are just bouncing around doing whatever. But you're like on this career path, right? Where you're like grinding away at this YouTube stuff, and you're working to build this into a career while everything else is going on in the background. There are people that try to do this full time, like well into their, 20s or past school, or when they're more stable, and they still can't handle getting a 500,000 view video and then posting an 80,000 view video, or they can't handle not having like a continual shout out or growth, or when they hit that 20,000 subscriber bump 1 month and the next month they get 200 subs, it's like they can't, they're over. What, like, I'm just so curious, and I understand it's hard to answer because maybe it's just a biological thing, you're wired, or was there like a certain video or a certain mentor or a certain YouTuber? Like, why do you think you were able to push through all of that so really like effortlessly? Because it seems like when you talk about your early uprising, it sounds like an entrepreneur in his 30s who's like, yeah, I started grinding at this thing, I modeled my behavior off of successful people in the field, and then I continued to persevere and push through, knowing that I'd make it, and eventually I did this and that and that and that, and then I did it, and it's like, okay, this sounds reasonable, but then you're like, oh, and I was 15 when I did this. It's like I
had really bad tunnel vision, and I still do. Like, I was just very obsessed with it. Like, I cared about girls, but not that much, and not that I was getting a lot of female attention anyway at that time and today, but I was really tunnel visioned on it. I just, like, there was nothing I actually enjoyed more than doing that. Like,
did you ever run into peers who were like obsessively trying to build a YouTube thing that you wanted to talk to? Like anybody in school or college? Nobody?
No, there was nobody. Everybody was, just kind of along for the ride. And that's what I felt like when I went to college. It was just like, it's the expected thing to do, which is why for a degree I picked digital media and journalism, because it fit what I wanted to do best. But once I got there, I realized a lot of the kids there were kind of disinterested in what they were actually doing. They didn't seem really motivated for it. The professors were, they were decent, but a lot of them were like working second jobs. Like, they weren't really making money. And I remember I had this conversation with a professor about like after class, about like the realistic expectation of making money. And they kind of just laughed at me, and they were like, go to a different school, you know. And the idea of like being broke or like writing for BuzzFeed or something, like living in New York and like writing shit I didn't care about was so dismal.
Did you have the perspective at the time, or did you realize that being as stupid as it sounds, being 18 years old as a freshman in college with 100,000 subs on YouTube, you would already hit a level of success that most of your classmates probably wouldn't for the rest of their lives? Did that ever like dawn on you, or?
I don't know, a little bit, but I feel like they could have done it if they just took the steps I did, and they didn't for whatever reason.
Sure, but I mean that's true of almost anything, right?
Yeah. I remember one thing I would do early on to like encourage myself a little bit was, it's really easy to look at a big YouTube channel and be like, fuck, how could I ever get there? How could I ever get there? But if you go on the Wayback Machine on archive.org, there's a very useful snapshot to see how everybody's channel was doing at any point in time. So I would go on like a YouTuber I saw that like, I was like, oh, this guy's content is so good. How the fuck did he get to this point? Like, how did he, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day or whatever. How did he get here? So I would go back through his channel archive and go through the earliest screenshots and see when he had like 400 subscribers and be like, what the fuck was he doing then? And then like a year later, where was he? And like, how can I model my success to that level and get where they were within that time frame? And I would kind of build goals roughly based off of that.
Do you remember in particular like any early YouTuber stuff you watched where you were like, that's a really good idea, I'm gonna like bite that, or this guy's doing this really well, I'm gonna copy this for a video? Do you ever remember like kind of trying to adopt any kind of habits or anything from other people?
Absolutely. I mean, early on there was definitely people I was straight up ripping off. Obviously Leafy was one guy that I was very captivated by the fact that he was posting every day, getting so many views on content that probably took like fucking 2 hours to make, like a day. Like that was so interesting to me. And I think a lot of that was right time, right place for him in particular. It didn't last forever for him. But he really got early in on like a really interesting kind of phase, and he was very industrious about how he was posting and how he would do it every day. And the thing about Leafy that a lot of people don't remember is back in the day, the stuff that he became super known for was like basically bullying content, right? Like just like this kid sucks, look at his fuck up tooth. But before that, the stuff that got him there, got him to like 200,000 subs, was like CSGO content, like story time videos, like fucking around in video games with friends. And then at a certain point, his like growth plateaued and he wasn't really growing. And then he was like, well, what the fuck is the next thing? And so by seeing that, I realized like YouTubers generally are not totally aimless with what they're doing. There's some strategy behind it. They can like make a decision to craft their future. And I very much was like, there needs to be a lot of thinking behind what you're doing and what the next step is going to be. And there's this phrase like getting out while it's still good, which I think is really important. A lot of people will blow up off of one thing and they won't be able to figure out what the next thing is in time, and they'll just kind of drift into the sunset off that one thing. And they're too scared to jump onto the next thing. It's just like, well, what if it tanks my career or something, right?
Yeah.
What if I lose the following I do have? But if they never make that jump, once again, like Ethan said, if you don't try, you will fail. If you do try, there's a chance you'll succeed, you know? I very much had the mentality that like, once in a while I got to rethink what I'm doing, because before you know it, you could be kind of down and out. Your content could be passe.
Yeah.
And I still have that to this day. So I got to think about a lot right now, which is like, what is the next thing? Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned the like modeling after other people, because I think when you talk to a lot of people that aren't artists or whatever the fuck this is, a lot of people think that the stressing and going for original ideas and trying to do totally original stuff all the time is like the best way to make your name initially. And I remember, because I went to school for music, and especially in jazz, you spend a lot of time transcribing solos where you just listen to a guy play and you try to like learn it over and over and over again. And we had always learned the saying that like I think good artists, it's something like good artists imitate and great artists steal. That like if you want to become like really great and you're just starting out, it's better to just like totally copy other people's stuff, make it part of your vocabulary, then grow off of it. So it's interesting for the YouTube stuff that you essentially approach it the same way. I'm curious, now that you're a larger YouTuber, you mentioned before that there must be some strategy. When you look at a lot of large YouTubers, do you feel like most of them do strategize, or do you think they mainly kind of got lucky and then they plateau and they can't figure out how to move on? Or what do you think? Yeah, what do you think is like the average YouTuber approach? Do you think that they strategize as heavily as you do, or they kind of go with the flow?
I feel like on average, the average YouTuber probably they strategize enough to get big to a certain point they're comfortable with, and then unfortunately they get kind of lazy. They don't really push the envelope or the boundary anymore.
Like Hassan Piker.
Yeah, and they yes, and they kind of coast off of that for a while, right? I think it's an exception that somebody's able to make it for a long time. I will say,
like Destiny.
Yes, there used to be this like notion. You probably remember this, that like if you're a YouTuber, you've got like 3 to 4 years and that's it, and you're done. And that's because a lot of people back then weren't strategizing or thinking about the next thing. But now you've got these legacy creators who've been doing it for like 10, 15 years who are still around, like streamers. You've got YouTubers who do it. I mean, I mentioned SXE Phil earlier. His channel has had various like, you know, high points and low points, but he's been consistent throughout time and trying to improve what he's doing. And he's still doing it to this day, getting pretty good views. That's the case for a lot of people. But also, you know, I'd say that's probably like 10, 20% of people. A lot of other people, they're kind of a flash in the pan. They're experimenting when they're starting out. They're figuring out how to get big. Once they have a big blow up that feels impressive to them, they never really escape that. And I think that's a very unfortunate position to be in. And I'd be like very insecure and paranoid about that.
It sounds like really stupid, but I think a lot of YouTube careers are. You ever watch SpongeBob?
Yes.
You see the ripped his pants episode?
Yeah.
Unironically like that. You have like your one-hit wonder, and it's always kind of sad when you see those people because you'll look at YouTube videos they're pushing like 5 years later, and it was like a 5 million view channel, or like 5 million sub channel, and they're getting like 5-figure, like 10,000 views per video, and they're trying to do kind of like the same shtick they did in like 2017, and I'm like, ugh.
I know you mentioned Hassan. I don't know if that was tongue-in-cheek, but that is kind of the problem he's having right now, I think, where he blew up off of his ripped pants was like, cops, kill cops, or whatever, and he never really developed a fan base that liked him that much outside of that. And so now he's trying to do like IRL content and stuff like that, and it's working better than the average person could ever do because he has a big audience, right? He does,
and he has like the assets to make it. Like he's a decently funny guy. Obviously, he looks really good. Like he's got a workhorse ethic. Like the guy will stream like 12 hours a day for years.
I think he's done it too late.
No way. He's still, his concurrent viewership is still like 20,000 viewers.
He can come back. But what I'm saying is like, it would have been a much more seamless transition if he had done it like 2 years ago.
For sure, yeah. But I think sometimes people get stuck in what you said, where you've got your blow up thing, because when you try to angle towards something else, it requires a lot of trust in yourself, because you've got to be willing to take a dip in views to be like, it's going to be fine. Like I'll figure my new thing out and come back. And some people, when they hit that first dip, they run back to the last thing, and then they just ride that all the way into nothingness.
You have to be comfortable. I think when you're at a size like that, when you're making money like that, you have to be comfortable. Maybe for a few months, maybe for a year, losing like 20-30% of your revenue. Sure. You're still gonna make, I mean, he's still gonna make mad money.
Yeah, of
we
course.
know
he's already retirement.
If either of us lost 20-30% of revenue, we still be making mad money, right? But it would be like, ooh, the number's going down. And that instinctively in your human brain is like, what the f is this?
And I also think it sounds weird and it sounds very disconnected and privileged or whatever, but I'm pretty sure at this position, like, you're not really thinking about the money, are you?
I mean, I think about it for sure in terms of like a growth thing, but it's not meaningfully changing my life.
Okay. Like if there was like a copyrighted song that I could use to take a video from 300,000 views on a video to like 4 million views, I would instantly go for the 4 million views. I wouldn't even think about like monetizing. Yeah.
Well, it's also because like what's more valuable when you have the money already is like the thing I was talking about early on, which I was solely focused on, which wasn't money. It was just like acquisition of content, acquisition of swag, acquisition of people watching my stuff. And I was very fortunate at that time because I didn't have to worry about bills. My parents paid for everything. They bought me my first car. They paid for my phone bills. My mom
was your first car.
What?
What was your first car?
Toyota Corolla.
Oh.
2016. It was my grandmother's old car.
Was it brand new? Oh no, grandma's old car. Okay.
It was a 2016. I think I got it in 2019. So it was a few years old, but it was pretty new.
That's pretty new. Yeah. What happened to grandma?
Still alive.
Why'd she give you a 3-year-old car?
She got a RAV4.
My God, you guys are just. Did you ever crash your car?
I backed it into a Jeep.
Did you tell him, or did you just like drive off?
No, he was there. It was in a parking lot. I backed into the Jeep. He was like, I remember like as I was backing it into it, he was like, bro, wait. And then I smashed into his roll cage. And so his Jeep wasn't damaged.
Okay.
But there was a giant imprint of the roll cage in the back of the car.
Did you tell your parents?
Oh yeah. I was living with them at the time. There was no way I could get away with it.
You're going to say, oh, that must have happened in the parking lot. Did you ever lie to your parents? Or were you...
I lied. I lied to them like crazy. Yes. But there was no way I would have gotten away with that. It was like a really bad, like, it was like a $4,000 fix on like a $12,000
You
car.
really, how fast do you back up?
Not that fast. It like damaged the frame and everything though. This car just like crumpled.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. How old were you then? Was that like 18 or?
Yeah, I was like 18.
Okay. Yeah. You're walking through class. You've got all these people commenting on videos. You've got all these subs online. You're getting all this attention. Does that not do anything to your ego when you're talking to classmates? You've got people that are like, I just came from high school. Like ordinarily it's like you were the big fish in the small pond and now you're the small fish in college. But you're not really. Do you ever feel that at all? Does that impact your attitude, your ego, the feeling like you're getting more attention or better than anybody or whatever? Like
sometimes, I mean, sometimes I'll have that thought, obviously, but I generally, when I have that, I'll catch myself and be like, shut the f up. It doesn't really matter. I will say my mind was definitely elsewhere, always in class. Like, you know, teachers talking about whatever the fuck, and I'm just thinking about like, what the fuck is happening on YouTube right now? You know, what am I gonna do when I get home? What's the video I'm gonna make? So yeah, I mean, it didn't really turn into a huge ego thing for me, I don't think, because I was self-aware of the fact that I had seen YouTubers become very egotistical and unlikable and unrelatable, and you don't want to be in that position. You don't want to get too high on yourself. Obviously, to a
like
certain
Hassan Piker.
Yes, obviously to a certain extent, what you and I do is very cool, and I think a lot of people are envious of the position. But I don't want to let it get to my head, really. You know, I don't think there's any benefit to that.
Why do you think when you look at YouTubers or streamers today, what do you think are the things that make you the most unlikable? Like, what are things that, like if I wanted to destroy my reputation with my audience, or if a YouTuber wanted to just destroy, like, what are the things that you think make people?
I think it would be hard for you to do it, but broadly speaking, I think a thing that pisses people off a lot is complaining about your job. Everybody complains about their job. Obviously, it makes sense, and there are valid complaints.
Like Hassan Piker on that one viral clip.
That's why I'm actually bringing this up. There are valid complaints to bring up with the job. Like, there are stresses to it, and in some ways, it can be harder than a normal job. But when you're making the amount of money that we're making, when you're making fucking YouTube videos, when you have like all these followers and stuff, people just, they don't want to hear it. When they're stocking at fucking an Amazon warehouse, right, and they're having like a shitty day, and then they hear that Hassan Piker is like, you know, it's so socially draining. Like, it's just not something they want to hear. So that's a big one.
Yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will.
I think a big thing definitely is a thing that will happen is you'll go from a very relatable, down-to-earth person to being a rich person, and you'll do rich person things, and you'll talk about rich person things. This is a big thing for like someone like Tom Segura, who's a pretty famous comedian. He got a lot of shit with his audience because he went from being relatable to being rich, and instead of just being rich, he would be like, all these fucking broke losers in my comment section, call me when you have a Porsche, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, people don't want to hear that.
I think I feel like XQC was running into problems with this, where he was like showing up in crazy outfits, like at casinos, like taking pictures of like $10,000 stacks and gambling and shit, and people started to feel like he wasn't the same kid that was just playing Overwatch. You know?
People especially don't like it when they respond to criticism being like, well, I'm rich. You remember he did that during the Ethan thing. He was like, look at my watch. He did
Your
it when
house is on my wrist. Yeah.
Yeah, he did it when somebody, someone on Twitter called him out. It was kind of a dumb criticism. They were like, I can't imagine a bigger scum fuck. And it was him like soy facing at like a building being destroyed in Gaza. And he responded with a picture of him with a bunch of money. That's hilarious. And I think his audience at this point is cool with that. But obviously to like people outside of your audience, that might hurt your ability to grow, because they're just going to see you as like a scum streamer they're never going to want to hear from.
Yeah.
There are certain things you can do that turn people off. And I'm definitely guilty of doing things like that. Not with the flexing thing, but I've definitely done things that, like, to a certain amount of the audience, we'll just have them like, they don't want to listen, you know? And I think it's okay to do some of that stuff if that's who you are. I think it's important. You don't want to hide it. But at the same time, you don't want to get in a habit where that's all you're doing. That's everything that people see of you.
There's a really fine line. I know this because I transitioned from StarCraft into a horrible game called League of Legends. And when somebody's angry, but they're not really angry, or they're like angry, but it's like funny angry, it's like the most hilarious thing in the world to watch. But when somebody's angry and they're like genuinely salty, it's like the least fun thing in the world to watch. Yeah. And yeah, like watching somebody like blame whatever teammates or, you know, but they're like having a good time and they're fun. It's like, it's cool, it's funny. But as soon as you can tell somebody's like genuinely really upset and they're just like salty as then you can enjoy it, but only like in an anti-fan way. And then ordinary fans are like, this is dumb, like I don't want to watch this anymore. Yeah.
When you were streaming early on, did you have like a content strategy behind it, or was it just like, I'm making money, I just need to fucking ride this thing?
I think no, I just streamed a ton. I think that when I was in high school, I was a pretty funny guy. I've always done decently in terms of like comedy, and we had a like TV set up outside the band hall or sometimes inside the band room, and we'd sneak up like during church, because I went to a private school, so we'd like sneak in. I think it was like every other Wednesday we'd sneak up in one of the practice rooms and we'd be playing like Smash or Mario Kart or whatever. And it was just funny, like we would like be playing games and like screaming at each other and like insults and like just like crazy, like off the wall, the worst fucking shit you could say, and it was like always funny to do it. And then I had a friend suggest to me, I think when I was like 20 or 21, he was like, oh, there are like these weird Korean kids online that have like this software and you can like stream. And this is back when it was like 200 kilobits per second. and you could only have like 15 viewers, or else you'd have to pay like $50 a month to have like 10 more viewers. It was just, yeah.
Ouch.
But then when I started making content, I started going and going and going. But I have like a lot of natural proclivities or whatever that gear me towards being a content creator. Like online hate doesn't really bother me that much. I'm pretty independent in terms of my view of myself. I don't let other people like make me feel like shit. Which it seems like there's a lot of stuff that is also kind of built into you as well.
Do you have? I think it was developed for me, honestly, because I think what? It was morally developed for me. Like
you can say that, but like
early on,
not to pull the age card, but like I could believe you if you're like in your 20s or 30s. But the fact that you were able to do this in your mid-teens, like if I would have been a big streamer when I was 15, 16, 17, bro, I would have been such an arrogant, egotistical piece of shit. It would have been the worst. I'd be the worst human being.
I mean,
ever.
I probably was more of an asshole. I wasn't a piece of shit, but I probably was more of an asshole.
Sure, maybe, okay.
But
I did bully that one kid. That's true.
Exactly. But I remember early on when I was 14, like, I think by the time I was 16, it stopped really bothering me. But I think when I was 14 and I started making videos, I remember I would get a comment and I'd be like, what the fuck? I'm going to leave a 5-paragraph response. Okay. I would be like, you're wrong and here's why. And I would like go dark Viper mode. I would detail it why.
Now you do that on your alternate account. Yeah.
Exactly. Now I do that on my 15 alternate accounts where I spread misinformation about myself so I can counter it on my other account.
Based. Okay.
But yeah, with your content stuff, obviously Twitch is a big deal, but I feel like YouTube has been instrumental in making you a lot bigger and a lot more seen, just because it's a much easier entry point to watch, you know,
I could see Max having big problems with my community and maybe problems relating to me and my community, but I think that even if that continues, unless it gets really rocky, I think that in general, me and him will be okay. It might be a bit tumultuous, but I think it'll be okay. Because for all of Max's faults, I don't think he's like a bad person that would try to f me over or backstab me. I don't think he's that kind of person. If Dan me over, I would be upset. That's a person who I'd be like, wow, didn't see that one coming. If we go through a certain situation where you could me over and you choose not to, yeah, well, let's test it right now, okay? You ready? We're gonna have a big fight right now, okay? Ready?
Okay.
So
okay.
he's trying to put people into his life right now. I think he's been burned by so many people, and he thinks like, oh.
Steven is such a unique individual that he curates a safe space for some of the most other unique individuals, and those unique individuals tend to be mentally ill, and mental illness with a lack of introspection causes chaos and drama.
When their first view of me for the last couple weeks is me like yelling at women and like being really aggressive, like I can't expect them to see anything but that. Hopefully with time.
Wait a second. Hold on. Wait. This is actually my fault. No, I don't think you explicitly said it, but my.
So I didn't. Okay,
No.
so stop playing stupid.
Hold.
What's the word? Tell me what you heard. Tell me what to do. Just tell me when it hurts. When I get you to myself, there's murder.
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh my God, loud and clear. What's up, bud?
Hi. I just talked to Cherry. It was really nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really good. But there's something that I wanted to talk to you about. You said something in the stream when you were reacting to me yesterday, and I just wanted to clarify. But I'm kind of running low on spoons, so just like forgive me, okay?
No problem. I got so many spoons right now.
I'm so tired today. Basically, you said that I misrepresented something you said about, like I said that you wanted to move people in your direction. And I think you said that was wrong.
I'd have to see the exact clip. I don't know if that's misrepresenting because I think I've said that in the past, but I don't think it's much. That's not generally my stated goal anymore. But
okay.
If I said I disagreed, I don't think it was. I would hope. I'm not saying I'm disagreeing with you. That's just not exactly what my stated goal is anymore. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so just to clarify then, what is your goal as like a content creator and thinker? Is it to move people in a direction closer to like your narrative, or is it just for you to understand how people think who are different from you? Like, what is the goal?
I think right now it's just to show like some level of like some base level of like empathy or understanding towards some people, and then from there I hope things happen as like a byproduct of that. But like my explicit goal isn't like moving people closer to me or converting people necessarily to like my point of view.
Okay, and then I have a question in relation to this, because you know how you guys, I came onto your stream when I was high and Lav and Mr. Girl and stuff were having their moment with me. It was very much like, why are we taking ourselves so seriously? But then Cherry just said something interesting, and she said that we were basically discussing what does it mean to be serious about our work. I think my levels, as an example, is a very efficient tool, and I think it's really good for some people.
Okay.
But I don't think I'm an academic. I know I'm not. I know I'm not serious in that way. And I don't want to convert people to my way of thinking, but I do take myself seriously as an adult. As a contrast to what Lav and Erudite and I were talking about, I take myself seriously enough that, yes, I do want to be treated without kid gloves, but at the same time, what does it mean to be serious in a bubble on the internet where we're yelling over drama? Like, what does it mean to be serious given how we spend our time? You know what I mean?
Okay. What does it mean to be serious?
Yeah. Like if someone said, Steven, do you take your work seriously?
What does it mean to be serious? I guess it's going to depend on the type of work. So like, for the type of work that it's going to depend even on what we're talking about in terms of like being serious. So like for me, like being serious might be like preparing in advance for a debate. Or it might be taking like the things and words I say seriously because I know they have an impact on people. Maybe that's like a form of like being serious. Yeah, but obviously that's going to vary based on the type of, if I'm like playing League, that's going to be different, right?
Yeah. Okay, so that's where I'm trying to find like a happy ground where I feel like I do it. I live on my little island and sometimes I talk to you and sometimes I talk to other people. But my goal is to share ideas that I think are useful and helpful to people who they are useful and helpful to. And to move off of that. So I think I take myself very seriously in certain capacities. Like I take my job as an aunt very seriously.
Okay.
Right? As a YouTuber, I take the job of it very seriously, like showing up, being productive, trying not to be such a boomer on stream, which does not happen. I take my calls very seriously, right? Making sure I'm on time, making sure I'm present. But in terms of how I'm impacting the global world, it feels very silly to say that I'm very serious about impacting the world. That feels childish to me. What do you think about that?
Well, the words that you're using, sound aggressively outwardly pointed, but I could agree with you. It just depends on what you mean by that. Because in one sense, you could say it feels silly to me because I don't feel
Good, but there's something that I wanted to talk to you.
loud and clear. What's up?
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh my God, loud and clear. What's up, bud?
Hi, I just talked to Cherry. It was really nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really good. But there's something that I wanted to talk to you about. You said something in the stream when you were reacting to me yesterday, and I just wanted to clarify. But I'm kind of running low on spoons, so just like forgive me, okay?
No problem. I got so many spoons right now.
I'm so tired today. Basically, you said that I misrepresented something you said about, like I said that you wanted to move people in your direction, and I think you said that was wrong.
I'd have to see the exact clip. I don't know if that's misrepresenting me because I think I've said that in the past, but I don't think it's much. That's not generally my stated goal anymore. But
okay.
If I said I disagreed, I don't think it was. I would hope. I'm not saying I'm disagreeing with you. That's just not exactly what my stated goal is anymore. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so just to clarify then, what is your goal as like a content creator and thinker? Is it to move people in a direction closer to like your narrative, or is it just for you to understand how people think who are different from you? Like, what is the goal?
I think right now it's just to show like some level of like some base level of like empathy or understanding towards some people, and then from there I hope things happen as like a byproduct of that. But like my explicit goal isn't like moving people closer to me or converting people necessarily to like my point of view.
Okay, and then I have a question in relation to this, because you know how you guys, I came onto your stream when I was high and Lav and Mr. Girl and stuff were having their moment with me. It was very much like, why are we taking ourselves so seriously? But then Cherry just said something interesting, and she said that we were basically discussing what does it mean to be serious about our work. I think My Levels, as an example, is a very efficient tool, and I think it's really good for some people.
Okay.
But I don't think I'm an academic. I know I'm not. I know I'm not serious in that way. And I don't want to convert people to my way of thinking, but I do take myself seriously as an adult. As a contrast to what Lav and Erudite and I were talking about, I take myself seriously enough that, yes, I do want to be treated without kid gloves, but at the same time, what does it mean to be serious in a bubble on the internet where we're yelling over drama? Like, what does it mean to be serious given how we spend our time? You know what I mean?
Okay. What does it mean to be serious?
Yeah. Like if someone said, Steven, do you take your work seriously?
What does it mean to be serious? I guess it's going to depend on the type of work. So like, for the type of work that it's going to depend even on what we're talking about in terms of like being serious. So like for me, like being serious might be like preparing in advance for a debate, or it might be taking like the things and words I say seriously because I know they have an impact on people. Maybe that's like a form of like being serious. Yeah, but obviously that's going to vary based on the type of, if I'm like playing League, that's going to be different, right?
Yeah. Okay, so that's where I'm trying to find like a happy ground where I feel like I do it. I live on my little island, and sometimes I talk to you and sometimes I talk to other people. But my goal is to share ideas that I think are useful and helpful to people who they are useful and helpful to. And to move off of that. So I think I take myself very seriously in certain capacities. Like I take my job as an aunt very seriously.
Okay.
Right? As a YouTuber, I take the job of it very seriously, like showing up, being productive, trying not to be such a boomer on stream, which does not happen. I take my calls very seriously, right? Making sure I'm on time, making sure I'm present. But in terms of how I'm impacting the global world, it feels very silly to say that I'm very serious about impacting the world. That feels childish to me. What do you think about that?
Well, the words that you're using sound aggressively outwardly pointed, but I could agree with you. It just depends on what you mean by that. Because in one sense, you could say it feels silly to me because I don't feel like that's the type of impact I aim for, or I don't feel like those are the types of conversation I have. So it's kind of silly to think of it that way. But then in another way, it could sound like what you're saying is that like anybody on the internet that thinks it can have an impact on people like that is silly or wasting their time.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't believe that. Obviously, I think that you have great impact in your local communities, in the world, if you are a global like influencer, I suppose. Obviously, people impact the world in different ways. I just know I am not looking for global domination. I'm trying just to be a good local kind of positive. So maybe I can take myself seriously in that. But then at the end of the day, like, I'm just a fucking content creator. Like, how serious can we be? I'm not actually sure. Like, I'm just trying to get people to get along during Christmas dinners. You know what I'm saying? That's my kind of goal.
Sure, but I mean, like, when you say like how serious can you be, it sounds like you're not talking about your mode of operation. It sounds like you're talking about like the topic where serious is like kind of some weird adult version of like this is a serious topic versus like I'm sure you can seriously take the topic of like how to get people to be nice at Christmas dinner, right?
Right. Okay, yes, that is true. And the vibe would change depending on how we tackled that issue because it impacts people's mental health. You could say that going to Christmas at my mom's could literally like trigger me to the point of suicidal ideation. So like maybe it is a very serious, you know, in that way it's very serious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess I'm having a little bit of a disconnect, I suppose. Like, you know how Max was telling Cherry that like, or he was upset with you for not taking her mistaken accusation too seriously because it really could have impacted his reputation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why he thinks he can care about that when he goes around saying such shit about other people, and he doesn't think about the implications of what we have to deal with when he says shit like that.
Well, to be fair to Max, I don't think Max makes like sexual assault allegations towards other people, right?
I mean, no, though my flirting with him was a little too strong for his taste,
Sure.
right? He said it was kind of rapey.
Yeah. Hold on. Just a really quick question. Guys.
Yeah.
Not for you, I'm sorry.
Oh, fuck you.
I don't know why these lubricant barrels are going in here. I don't know what's causing it to load. It should never be happening. It's only when it's less than 240. And when I check here, I've got over 3,000 barrels being sent by this signal. What the fuck is going on? Okay. So you're asking me like, how can Max be upset? If you make it a little broader, like how can Max be upset when people make accusations about him when he says like really ridiculous stuff? My belief would be that Max is probably thinking like, well, if people are getting mad at me because of like the serious topics that I grapple with, that's okay. But if people are getting mad at me because of fake sexual assault allegations, then people probably wouldn't be okay with that, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that Max himself, like, we all have to deal with backlash from sloppy content creators. I had to deal with it when Max was sloppy with me. I had to deal with it. So I guess I just like, yeah, take it, like, suck it up, bro. We all have to deal with this and we do it to each other.
I don't know if everybody does fake sexual assault allegations to each other. That seems to be a little bit.
But she obviously, just like when it's kind of like I could see in that moment why she panicked and thought that's what was happening.
Yeah, of
course. Right? So I can like be like, okay, no big deal. It was a mistake. And like Max, it's a mistake, but also I guess I think Max, like, also some people on the internet, not just Max, want both. They want to be able to be provocative and still not have consequences. Like, it's like Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein said the most horrendous thing about Ben Shapiro, and then he goes, "What? I'm a Jew," and I'm like, okay, yes, and that is, yes, we all understand it was a joke. I watch Ethan. I know he's outrageous, but at the same time, why would you even think the thought? The thought itself was such a negative, awful thought that I'm like, why are you acting like you're not trying to be provocative, and why are you shocked that YouTube banned you when like everyone's on high alert for anti-Semitic issues, right? Like, why would he say that? It's kind of like this cognitive dissonance that's happening in adult content creators that I feel like our job itself is turning us into such, like, I think we forget that it's not that serious, but I guess if you want to start going around canceling people, now we have to take it seriously.
Yeah, and I think that was the main issue with Ethan, why people are so critical of him, is
Yeah.
that it seems like he was kind of like championing this type of culture to some extent. So now when it comes back to bite you, it looks kind of bad for you to be like, wait, well, hold on, I was just joking, or I didn't mean it that seriously. And it's like, what if Steven Crowder had made a comment like that? Like, how would you feel about it, you know? And he'd probably be fully on board with canceling Steven Crowder for it, you know?
That's what I'm saying. The lack of consistency is so difficult, but I think it's because we don't actually know why we're saying the things we are. Like, I'm, you know, hardcore about freedom, blah, blah, blah. I'm all about try your thing, live in your bubble, do your thing. But I think that's what I told Cherry. Look, at the end of the day, we don't know what we're doing on this planet. We're trying our best to figure it out. And through that trial and error, we make mistakes. It gets messy. Sometimes we genocide a whole population. But that's what humans do. Like, humans are one of the most trial and error species I've ever understood. That's what I understand us as a species who tries its hardest to trial and error. We do what we think is right, but we fuck up most of the time, but we're trying. Like, I don't know that I need to become consumed by the inconsistency of people's actions unless it directly harms me. but I find like people try to get the they try to preemptively go on the attack, which causes the craziness to amplify. So like, why do you think you've been having so much drama on your channel lately? Does that make sense? Like, does that? I'm sorry, I'm having like 20 thoughts. So
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a little separate from what you were just saying.
Sorry.
But,
I'm connecting it to the idea that these things keep happening, but then we wonder why they keep happening. But it's like, but what is the pattern you're exhibiting that allows this to exist? Like this energy. Like why is Lav or Max or why are we having yelling matches on these panels? Like why do you think that happens?
For me, if I were to try to like single it out as a single issue, I think it's generally because people are generally very unempathetic or they don't understand where other people are coming from. I think that's where the vast majority of shouting matches are coming from, is somebody failing to understand the position that somebody else is taking. Like, I think that's where, I think that's where most of Max's issues are. I think that's probably where most of Lav's
Well,
issues
wait a second. Then why did you struggle to understand Lav's position about her being like pro-sex work, but also doing anti-sex work, but also doing sex work, or maybe her issues, like, did you actually have issues with her stance or just the way she handled it?
No, I think that, well, firstly, her stance was incomprehensible. But my issue isn't with her stance. I've said this a lot on stream. I like Lav because I think it's interesting. I think she's relatively intelligent. I don't think she's an idiot. I've never thought that before. I like Lav because it's interesting to me to see somebody that has obviously been severely affected by something, who's reasonably intelligent, going through a big like transitionary period in their life. That's something that's interesting to me. I like to watch the change. My issue with Lav, and I'll say this every time somebody asks, is that while she's in this highly transitory period, she is aggressively attacking other people, but then it seems like she's changing her opinion the next day. So like her really aggressive statements about like you, her really aggressive statements about Miss Genevieve, her really aggressive statements about sex workers in general, like all of these were framed in a really aggressive manner, but then they change the next day and then people are like, okay, well, hold on, you were just shitting on these people for not something that it seems like you've come around on in 24 hours. I think that was the issue.
Yeah, but we know she's going through a transitionary period in her youth, and this is so normal. Don't kids go back and forth all the time?
Yeah, but if you're gonna be really aggressive while going back and forth, people are gonna fucking destroy you. Probably rightfully so.
As they should. No,
yeah, exactly.
As they should.
So my goal,
For sure.
but I wasn't destroying. I wasn't usually attacking her on that. I was usually just kind of like asking her questions and kind of like poking and prodding. It wasn't until she started to kind of, I think, shit talk me on other platforms that now it's like, okay, well, hold on. I think I've been fairly charitable towards you, but if you're gonna be aggressive towards me on other platforms, well, now I'm gonna be aggressive when I have you in front of me, right? So that's kind of where our little blow up came from yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a personal question, but answer how you want.
Yes,
coming
ma'am.
from Twitch, you had all these like fallouts. Coming here to YouTube, you've made like kind of better friends, but then also it's been chaotic. Do you feel safe with your YouTube friends or streamer friends?
I feel like I have a really good handle on where people are at and what people are capable of. Like there are certain people that I can tell like could flip or things could happen with, and then there are other people where it's like I don't think that person would. And for the most part, I think my internal reads are generally pretty correct on people. Nobody's like, I don't know if anybody's like shocked me where it's like, oh my god, I thought this person would be like loyal to the end, and then it's like, oh fuck, they turned on me for something. So I think I generally have a good feel of people. One thing that I think that is true in life in general, like I always ask, if you go to, you know what Denny's is? You know what Denny's is, right?
Like the restaurant, Denny's?
Yeah, if you go to Denny's and you get a steak, right? It, like you enjoy your steak at Denny's. Yeah, if you go to a really expensive restaurant and you get a Denny's steak there, you're going to be really upset. But like it's the same steak. Why would you be mad in one place over the other? And I think that the issue is that most of the disappointment in life comes from the mismatch between expectation and reality. So when I'm befriending certain people, there are certain people it's like I know that depending on how things go here, this person could flip. And as long as I'm expecting that, like when it happens, it's not like surprising to me, Like I know that Lav has her things and she does her things, and like she's fun to talk to, and I don't mind like hanging out with her, like that's fine. But like if Lav is like trying really hard to be friends with Mr. Girl or some shit comes up where she's getting shit on my community, it's like, yeah, it wouldn't really surprise me if Lav was like, fuck Destiny, this guy's a piece of shit. It's like, okay, whatever. Like that's not like a shocking thing to me. Like it's within like the world of possible expectations that I would have for her, right? But like you and I have talked pretty closely quite a bit, and I feel like I have like a decent beat on the type of person you are. If you went live on your stream and you all of a sudden were like, oh, I actually think that Destiny and Melina are horrible people and blah blah blah, that would be surprising. Like, oh damn, that actually kind of feels kind of shitty, because that's like way outside of the realm of expectations that I would have had for you. But it just depends on the person, Like where Max is at right now, so I'll stake out maybe a risky position. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. I could see Max having big problems with my community and maybe problems relating to me and my community, but I think that even if that continues, unless it gets really rocky, I think that in general, me and him will be okay. It might be a bit tumultuous, but I think it'll be okay. Because for all of Max's faults, I don't think he's like a bad person that would try to f me over or backstab me. I don't think he's that kind of person. I think that he just has a lot of problems seeing things from other people's points of view sometimes, and then he can get emotional, which is fine. But I don't think he would like f me over really. I don't think Max would ever be that kind of person. Well, maybe, but Max, I don't think so.
I feel like Max is not going to intentionally f you over like in a malicious way. I think he might be so morally pushed into a quote unquote corner that he might feel like he has to, regardless of your friendship, like take a stand.
Yeah, on something that comes off negatively. Yeah, but like if people have to do that, like you know, it's fine. I understand. That's different than like for instance, I don't think. And I could be wrong, but if like all of Max's DMs were leaked right now between like him and Lav and everybody else, like he might say some things where he's like pretty critical of me or like, oh, I think that Destiny's missing this or that or whatever. But I don't think it'd be like, Destiny's a fucking piece of shit. I fucking hate this guy, blah, blah, blah. Like I can't, you know, I don't think anything like that would ever be leaked. Yeah. But
I feel like Max does this thing though, and I'm a little like, I would be worried in general. Well, no, scratch that. F that. Listen to this.
Okay. Listening. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In relation to like friends, like us, like I think about our friendship quite often, and I think of us as like getting to know each other still in many ways.
Yeah, of course, because technically we've spent probably less than 20 hours, if that, talking to each other, right?
Yeah, and we haven't even met in person yet, so there's so much more to gain from just being in your space, right? Just to feel your energy would probably change things up a little bit. Maybe more trust or less trust would happen.
So way more, but God.
Hopefully. But I think that's the problem, is that I think that even from the outsider's perspective, there's like, oh, Brittany and Steven must be very close. And I'm like, whoa, like I love Steven. He's so considerate, nice to me, and as a friend, I love him so much. But like, God, I don't even have this man's phone number. Like, everybody relax. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't know you yet, but I know. Hopefully what I do know about you reassures me that you would remain a good friend, and so I can have high trust, I think, with your consistency, your energy, the way you talk, the way you've been for the last whatever years on the internet reassures me that I can put a higher trust expectation on you.
Sure.
But with other people, I can't exactly always have that. Now, with Lav as an example, I see her as a person that I don't need to have a high or low trust with. Just a medium, a nice medium.
Yeah, it's going to depend on like what you're going to share with somebody too, right? Like this happens a lot where people on my stream will be like, why did you ever let that person on? Why did you trust that person? Why did you bring that person on? They f***ed you over, blah, blah. And it's like, they kind of f***ed me over, but like the level of trust you think I have in these people is way higher than I actually do. Like, it's not like any of these people are actually f***ing me over. They just like me and then they go on to shit talk me. But they don't have any leverage over me. They don't have any like private or super crazy information, or they don't have any like access to my business. Like, you know, now if Melina were to like flip and like take half my assets or something after marriage, then it's like, okay, that's a f*** up. But like somebody that used to like me on stream and then shit talks me, it's not like I had a huge trust for them. Like it was just a person that came and then they went, you know, that happens.
How do you emotionally feel in relation to the Lav and Mr. Girl stuff? Are you actually like, you know how on stream you seem very invested? Are you that invested off stream, or do you just like, whatever?
I just get mad when people say dumb things. That just triggers the fuck out of me. I'm never like, it's not a personal thing where I'm upset, where it's like, oh no, why are you backstabbing me or blah, 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 anything like that. It's usually just like, what you're saying is so dumb and it's triggering the fuck out of me. That's generally how I feel about things.
Yeah, okay. I guess, you know, when you say you're triggered by things, do you mean that in like it's upsetting me, so I'm gonna like be like loud about it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Not like I'm actually like
medically triggered.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm not having like a trauma response or something. Yeah.
I have a theory, because Cherry and I just talked about this. I do have a theory that I can enjoy everyone and the differences you all have, and I hope that I continue to be a space where people can come talk to me in a less yelly way, and we can have open discourse about what's been going on. But I think that I live so hardcore in my offline life that when I come to work, I'm really just working, but also I'm getting to know people slowly, and maybe we'll be friends, maybe we'll be close, maybe we won't. But it feels very like less personal naturally to me. But the way that the drama ensues on your channel feels so personal to me. And I just don't understand how it's not, unless it's for views, unless people are getting upset on camera so the views come in.
I mean, the people are personally, the people that come on that get upset are genuinely very upset. And they genuinely have like very real issues with people. Like that happens. It's not like Stardust and Mr. Girl was not like fake drama. Like they were close friends, and then everything like, yeah, super fell out. And there was like a lot of crazy shit that was going on there. So I mean, like that's genuine. Yeah.
Okay. I guess, oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, hi, Dan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Having a good day?
I'm having a fine day. Just thought I'd come in here and, we're all talking about how we're all best friends and everything. And I thought, wait a second, I'm the best friend. And I should be in this call as a result of that.
Okay.
So,
well, here you are.
Cool. I like that. How was your guys' dinner yesterday?
It was very good.
Yeah? Do you feel like you're very close to Steven?
Oh, so close. Very
Dan was
close.
pretty
But,
close. If Dan f***ed me over, I would be upset. That's a person who I'd be like, wow, didn't see that one coming.
The big
Yeah.
thing is that you, and I think I said this before to Steve, you can't buy it with words or philosophy talks or anything. It just takes thousands of hours. That's it. There is no shortcut for it. There is no let's have a big heart to heart. There is no I think we're anything. It's just you got to be on the streets with the guy and see what he can do, and it just takes time. And there's nothing you can do about it to bypass it. It's just it. It's like being an expert at something. Time.
So I would say that time can do it, but I think there's a reason why, and I think there is a way to shortcut it. The way that I always view things is that if we go through a certain situation where you could f me over and you choose not to, that's in me. Those are the things that I think I can trust this person, because I theoretically could spend hundreds of hours with a person, and we've never been like in a high stress situation where you could f me over but you don't. I don't necessarily trust that person. I just know them for a long time. Yeah.
So what kind of what if you had a relationship though? What if our friendship, Steven, is one of the smoothest and best you've ever had for 30 years? What if we never fight?
It sounds kind of boring, but it's possible.
Well, that means it's not the smoothest and the best, right? True relationships require conflict to see where you can push them a little bit,
Not necessarily, but I mean, it'll probably, there's like a hint of truth to what Dan is saying, is that like, it means we probably haven't scratched that much depth, or there's some sort of like relational thing that we're missing. Because generally people are, unless we're clones of one another, which we're definitely not, usually there's going to be some kind of point of conflict or something.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously like the girl version of me, so I think that we're similar enough that we would have natural moments. Like I'm waiting, I just told this to my chat, I am waiting for us to have like our disagreement moment, but I think it's difficult because I don't know that we must disagree on something, but I don't know if that's actually true. Maybe we just are so open and we're good with people being who they are that we won't ever have a disagreement. That's what I'm saying. Like we'll argue probably about how to do things. Like we might argue about like the ethics around something, and that might be our fight, but we're probably not gonna, I don't foresee us fighting over like real stuff. Like maybe
the problem is that like we inhabit areas that are so different that there's not much room for there to be the friction that would cause a fight. So like, for instance, here's something that we theoretically could fight about, but my guess is going to be that you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess that's probably true, and you'll drop it immediately. But yeah, well, let's test it right now, okay? You ready? We might have a big fight right now, okay? Ready?
Okay.
So from a geopolitical / historical standpoint, you mentioned earlier that it's silly for somebody to claim I'm anti-Semitic because I'm from the Middle East, which that comment...
Were you watching my stream?
Shut up, don't worry about it. But that comment is a little bit silly because there's a lot of Arabs in the Middle East that hate Jews, right? So that's not really a good argument. That could be an argument.
They wouldn't be Nazis. They would be but
they would be super anti-Semitic. Maybe not Nazis, but they'd be super anti-Semitic,
I'm
right?
okay with that. Obviously, yes.
Sure.
Obviously, the Middle East got problems, but like, yes, okay. I think I hate the word Nazi. It drives me crazy.
Oh, okay. Well, careful.
It
We're
just
talking
doesn't
about
make
that.
sense to call me a Nazi. If you call me an anti-Semite, we can talk about that. But obviously, that's also not true because I'm not like. Obviously, that's not the kind of. If you actually want to get bubbly about it, I'm not the kind of Middle Eastern that would be anti-Jew because we think we are Jews because we're all from. We think like Adam and Eve, like the Garden of Eden, came from Iraq, came from El Kush, where my parents were from.
Okay.
I do not think that.
No,
it's
so like
true
that's,
that most Arabs think they are Jews.
She's not saying
I'm not
most
Arab.
Arab. She said from the place that she specifically is from.
I'm Chaldean. I'm not Arab. I'm Assyrian. So like that's the thing is I'm not even real Arab. Like when people say like my Arab callers would be like you're one of us, and then my other non-Arab callers like the Jews are like you're one of us. We're all one of each other. I get it because we're all from the same origin. We all share the same forefathers. We all share the same like basically God. Like. So I think in that regard, it's one of those confusing bubble things.
When you say Assyrian, like ASSY.
Yes. Assyrian, not Syrian. Assyrian.
I knew an Assyrian. Not
Oh,
that
yeah?
great of not that great of a Rust player, but very loud.
Nice.
You remember it too, right?
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Wait, he was very loud. Oh, interesting. Okay.
We're very loud as a people. We're very loud.
You're 2 for 2.
He
so
literally
far.
speaks in a shout.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how some of us are born. So I think like I do get my feelings like hurt a little bit when I'm like, oh man, they don't see me. But then I go, oh, well, that's the internet. People don't see each other. So I think that's why I like Destiny or Steven is because I think that you try to see people. Like you attempt to see and understand them. even if you don't always get it right, you're at least trying, and that's very fun. That's exciting.
Yeah, I try my best.
Boy, is this like a fucking suck-off session of this guy? Because he's not that fucking great. I'll be honest.
I'm pretty
He's
great.
fine.
I'm pretty great.
You're like, okay, that's it.
Okay.
I mean,
Jesus.
You're the one who spent thousands of hours.
True.
Yeah, so
Well, he
I'm not.
spent thousands of hours with me, right? If you think about it, he gave me the roles, not the other way around. He could have kicked me out. He chose not to. So essentially, he was joining me, not the other way around. That's very easy.
What's the favorite part about you guys being friends? Because I actually do like your dynamic a lot. What's your favorite part about being Steven's friend, Dan?
Being right most of the time, and then having him not admit it and try to weasel out of it is usually like the best part about it, because it happens so often.
Cringe.
Yeah.
Steven, what's your favorite part about being friends with Dan?
Yeah, what's your favorite part, Steve?
I think
Really embellish.
I think Dan being older helps a lot. As much as I hate to say that, I really do think that dude. I feel so boomer when I say that. There are so many people that when I hate that I've become this, because as a kid it's so frustrating. When I say kid, I mean someone in their 20s, to see older people do this. But there's a lot of people. This happens with Sneeko 100%. It happens with Lab 100%. Like when I hear them say certain things, all I'm hearing them say is I'm 24, I'm 24, I'm 24, I'm 24. And it's like, I get it, dude. I totally understand where you're coming from, but oh my God, is it frustrating to listen to?
Your ageism is getting worse as you.
It is, yeah, but that's what happens, right? When you get older, you turn really ageist, yeah, I guess. So Dan being older probably helps. Our senses of humor are pretty similar. Dan is really good at recognizing like the limits of his knowledge. So I don't think Dan would ever come to like start a huge fight with me over some shit that he's totally clueless about. Yeah, and then we vibe off each other basically, yeah.
So basically my skills are I'm old and I know that I'm a moron. So.
Not a moron, but if you want to be dramatic about it, okay.
I think Dan. I think Steven is trying to say that your wisdom inspires him to think about his ideas better. That's what I'm hearing. That your age contributes to your wisdom, because like Steven's ageism is pretty bad. But I have a question, Steven. If we're being like observed by like a person in their 60s, do you think that we would be the children? Like we be the young people?
I'm not sure. It's hard to say. A lot of adults are real stupid. There are a lot of adults I know that are like, you act like a high schooler or a 20-year-old, so I'm not sure. Maybe by a really wise adult. Yeah, good one. Maybe by like a really wise adult, they'd be that way, but I'm okay with that. I hope that when I'm 60, I'm way more wise than when I'm 33.
Obviously, God, that's the goal. I think that's what I'm wondering about too as well. I guess apparently you watched some of my stream. I'm just, I guess, confused when I watch all the panels and everyone's yelling. I can't tell if they do it because they're on stream with you. Like,
no, I think it's just because people genuinely have a really hard time understanding each other. And then like when you're talking to somebody, they seem so stupid because they're not understanding the basic thing you're trying to get across. It's like, okay, well, then people are just gonna get more and more and more upset because they feel like they're not being understood. And then, you know, if you're not being understood, you just scream louder.
We also do a really good job of making people like kind of go batshit a little bit, or I would say confront things that they wouldn't normally do. Like we can suss that shit out very quickly, like what's gonna drive someone to go mental or what they're trying to hide, that type of stuff. It seems like something that most of the people don't do as well. So it's like kind of stirring the shit a little bit, but like getting down to the point, right? Like you know how to, I don't want to say how to hurt someone, but like you know what they're not talking about. You can get to the point right away. Steve's very good at that. Like if someone comes in here like just cutting through the bullshit and being like, hey, why'd you say this? And they're like, oh, okay, well, you know, there's not a lot of bullshit there.
Like, okay, Dan, when you had me on the panel and you were shit stirring, which was very funny, and I'm convinced you like me so much, actually, because I feel I just feel like this is a boy thing to do, but I get it. What was your goal there? Was your goal just to enjoy the shit show, to make the panel angry, to get like emotions
I honestly don't remember. I remember that. Let's see, what do I remember? I remember that I gave you shit for interrupting something, which you did do, and it's not exclusive to you. I did that yesterday, actually, with someone who just comes in here uninvited, like, hey guys, it's me. Off other people in here. I have a conversation to do, and it just drives me crazy more than I'm trying to like, you know, do anything else. But there's a lot of people that have that in them. They see they got the roles and they're showing up, and it's like, did you guys hear what's happening in Cuba right now? I cannot. And it's like, we are talking about what type of dog is sexiest right now. Can you wait your turn? Yeah, I don't know. Just that shit bothers me.
Yeah, that's my like social misunderstanding of the rules. Steven is also very confusing. He's always like, Brittany, come on, Brittany, I'm talking to you. Oh, what are you doing right now, Steven? He's like, just chilling, just like talking to you. And I'm like, okay, I can just come in whenever. And then I get yelled at, and then I feel bad because I don't want to take.
Wait, when do I yell at you?
No, you would never. But like, you know, it's just like I don't want to.
Well, that's because other people are always, you know, Dan is
we do it for him.
You know, no,
yeah, that's true.
you. That's not true.
Okay, Dan, I need to ask you this because please tell me I'm not crazy. Steven does treat me with kid gloves, right? He's nice to me.
I think. Listen, I don't. So I'm gonna preface this. I would say maybe a little bit, but it's also because he's trying to put people into his life right now. I think he's been burned by so many people, and he thinks like, oh, here's an interesting person. He could obviously make you hate him like so quickly because you say a lot of dumb shit, but he doesn't do it. He's just like, hey, listen, they have their own thing. He defends you a little bit. He moves on. He could, so that could go a different way. If what you're saying is he doesn't come at me like he would someone he hates, of course he doesn't do that. But
when I think of treating somebody with kids gloves, when I say kids gloves, this is what I usually mean. Well, there could be two meanings to this. One is that I'm intentionally like tiptoeing around somebody to not hurt their feelings. That's pretty rare. I don't actually know if I ever do that. The second one is usually like I'm spotting things that could be problems or could be contradictions, but I'm giving you like the benefit of the doubt and I'm letting you kind of explore those or explore that in a conversation rather than trying to like destroy you in a debate where like you said this, but then you also said that, and now I need you to recognize you're wrong. Like that's generally what it means when somebody says like kids gloves. So like I would say, for instance, like I've treated Lav with kids gloves, but that doesn't mean I've treated her, she's not an idiot. I'm not treating her like a stupid person, and I'm not like not challenging her. Like our conversations, I think most of them, even the ones where I'm being nice, are really challenging for her, but I'm not like I'm not sitting there trying to be like, well, you said that and then you did this, you idiot. Like what, how can you say blah blah blah? Like I'm not like going hard like trying to assassinate. I'm giving her like in my mind a space to kind of like explore those ideas in a relatively safe manner, and then like be able to kind of say whatever and do that. Yeah, that's what I mean, I guess, when I say kids gloves. I really shouldn't say kids gloves. When I say that, what I really should mean is I'm extending like a really high level of charitability you're probably not going to get from anybody else on the internet.
Well, there is one thing as well, and I think like Steve can, I don't want to say like go hard, because there's two types of going hard. There's like really like getting into it, and he's done that with me and he's done that with Mr. Newton, but both of us are, we know we're all coming out of this at the end of the day. I think there are some people that if he did do that type of like really harsh, brash behavior with, 100% like they're not going to be like, oh, that was fun, I want to do that again, and more so like start shit talking him on their stream later. So there is a lot of people that fall into that camp. I don't know how you would react if he did that to you, but certainly that is something that hasn't been done to you yet, but that's just because you're a different type of person so far.
Maybe that's it too. It's funny, Kyla and I just talked about this too, like what does it mean to be to take someone seriously? Like we were talking to Lav about it. I take I take myself seriously, but I also don't. Like it's so hard for me to take so many things seriously when it's just all very much, I don't know, it feels kind of fake, my life sometimes. Like as a content creator, it's such a weird, awesome job, but it's a total blessing that could go away tomorrow, right? And I'm trying just to enjoy it while I have it, but it's hard for me to invest in it like I did with politics. Like politics, I thought I was changing the world, right? I was really invested, so I was ready for battles every day. But here, I just want to have the conversation. Like I wonder if you avoid Steven coming at me about the levels because it's just a subjective tool, that it doesn't matter, it's not trying to be objective, so it's like, what's the point of discussing this?
Why don't I come after you about like the levels?
Yeah, like why don't you, like, how people seem so angry about it? Is it just because it's not that big of a deal, so you're like, what's the point of getting angry about it?
I think the reason why people get angry about a self-made level system where you've appointed yourself the highest level is people feel like you use it as a way to be condescending towards people, and people oftentimes really don't like to be categorized. So in their mind, there's a girl like you that doesn't fit any of the traditional molds of intelligence. You don't like wear glasses and do STEM and debate politics and all that shit, right? You talk about what you talk about on your stream, mainly interpersonal stuff. So you already don't fit the mold of what they would expect to see as a very intelligent person. And then you've got a level system where you categorize yourself at the top, and they probably feel like if they